Welcome back, fans, here to Arrold Field as we count down to the start of this Little East Conference Championship game. And Eric, at this time, let's take a look back at the semifinals yesterday afternoon at Laconia High School. First, the first semifinal between top-seeded Plymouth State and fourth-seeded Keene State. And really, Plymouth State got out early and held on late.
Yeah, going over that game, what jumped off to me was junior Sydney DuBois starred in the victory for the Panthers, scoring 5 goals as Plymouth State did pull away in the second half for a 15-5 win. PSU held a small 5-3 advantage after a low-scoring first half, but they did score 5 times in the first 8 minutes of the second half to seize momentum, and they never really looked back. The Owls did attempt to rally with a pair of goals to cut the margin to 10-5, but Plymouth went on another 5-0 run to close out the game in what was a dominant victory for Plymouth over their in-state rivals, and that was yet another game in which the higher seed has dominated, and that was a theme we've seen throughout the playoffs.
Yeah, we look at things in the stat line of that semifinal yesterday. Plymouth State outshot the Owls in the first half 16-10, but again, only had that 2-goal margin going into the break. Outshot the Owls total 30-23. Again, a very close second half, 14-13 in shot totals, but the ground ball is a very physical first half of action that contested, especially with the zone defense that we saw from the Owls. It was very hard for Plymouth State to get, really any penetration inside the arches. Looking at the ground balls, Plymouth State 19, Keene State 14 in the first half, then only 9-7 in the second half in ground balls by period. Clears, Plymouth State did well in that. 8 for 10 in the first half, 10 for 11 in the second half, 18 for 21 total. This is where Keene State found themselves in a little bit of trouble that allowed Plymouth State to get that momentum in the second half. Only 6 for 15 on clears in the first half, 7 of 11 in the second half, 13 of 26 total for the game. Free position shots, this is what stands out. First half, Plymouth State 1 for 7. Keene State 0 for 3. Second half is where the Panthers really took control on an Owls team that was starting to get frustrated. We saw that in the matchup back at the end of last week in April on the 23rd. Things got chippy as well. Plymouth State 6 of 8 on free positions in the second half. Keene State 0 for 4. So we look at things of that nature. Plymouth State was able to take the pressure, take the contact, get those free positions and capitalize, and that's why we saw that really high-scoring second half for Plymouth State. But it's also the rest of the team that's really stepped up throughout the middle. We saw some injuries happen for Plymouth State. We won't get into any details as we're not allowed to here at Division III, but it really changed the dynamic. But a lot of key players. We saw Devin Mello get her first career goals coming in the semifinal. She got 2 on 2 free positions back-to-back to start the second half. She had, I think, 4 chances on free positions, so she really stepped up nicely in the midfield into that attacking role, kind of changing in and out, and Plymouth State flowed very nicely. In the second semifinal, Southern Maine got out early, got out often, and battled a very chippy game on their right, but controlled from the get-go.
Yeah, and senior Eliza Jordan and freshman Lindsay Keenan really led the way for USM, combining for 9 goals and 2 assists, which led into a 15-9 victory over the Colonials. Although the Huskies were able to win comfortably, it was a tale of 2 halves as the Huskies jumped out to a 10-3 lead at halftime, but they were outscored 6-5 in the second half. The stars of that game for me, for the Huskies, were Eliza Jordan, who yet again put in an outstanding performance with 5 goals, an assist, 5 ground balls, and 4 draw controls. Really an overall outstanding performance from her. And then yet again, Van Nostrand in goal showed why she is one of the best goalies in the LEC with an 11-save performance in the win for the Huskies.
Yeah, we look at that. Not only that, but the goalie's best friend helped her out 4 separate occasions. WestCon players hit the post, but Van Nostrand, we saw it at the end of the first half. If you did not join in, and if you did, if you can recall, some beautiful saves on Bardelli and Bradshaw that had that beautiful screen, especially on the left side of the arch. WestCon was trying to stack up the defensive side and break one of those players free, and they did so very well at the end of the first half. But Van Nostrand came up huge and was able to go down low and make these skip shots, saves off of the turf, and it really could have been a different dynamic. We talked about it. WestCon had a goal called back on a crease violation. They had 4 posts, as we just mentioned, because of the stops also in net of Van Nordstrom. It really should have been maybe a 5-3, 6-3 advantage for Southern Maine at the half. Instead, at one point, it was a 9-1 advantage for Southern Maine because a lot of those goals for the Huskies came off of turnovers, off of whistles by WestCon in the first half, and it immediately led to a goal, and that was so deflating for the Colonials. They did battle back in the second half, but then the frustration set in. We saw a ton of cards, a ton of yellow cards. I'm not even thinking about green cards in that second half. Southern Maine of their own had 4, and we saw a couple of ejections because of yellow card situations on the Colonials of WestCon yesterday, especially towards the end of the game. The frustration sets in. A couple of cross checks that got a little bit egregious at times, but the fact that Southern Maine weathering the storm of WestCon, we saw again it was a 10-3. It got down to 5-goal lead, and then another rally by Southern Maine to get 3 goals quickly in the mid part of the second half, and that really secured the game for them. At this time, though, warm-up's getting close to coming to an end. We're going to turn our attention over to Plymouth State, and we'll show you what Plymouth State has done over the last 4 years in the conference tournament. They are in the championship game for the 6th straight season. You see on your screen, champions in 2018 and 2017, making it to the first round of the NCAA tournament before not being knocked out. We'll see if Plymouth State can make it again as a three-peat, the second three-peat in program history here in the Little East Conference. They are runners-up in 2016 and 2015. Again, the 6th straight appearance for Plymouth State in the Little East Conference championship game here today. They are 7-time Little East Conference champions since Little East started women's lacrosse back in 2002, and that's when Plymouth State really took off. So they're trying to add to their league record of championship wins, and this is a team that's very balanced. You wouldn't say it's a high-scoring offense compared to some of the other teams we have seen here in the semifinals, but Plymouth State balanced throughout their lineup.
Yeah, I would agree exactly with that. They are 8-0 against all the LEC competition, so they are very dominant. And throughout this season, they have shown the ability to score in bunches, despite maybe not having the ability to be super high-scoring games. And the Panthers are riding a 6-game win streak, which has also had them on a 14-home game win streak, their last home loss being on April 29, 2017. And the Panthers have also won 4 straight home playoff games and haven't lost a home playoff game since the 2015 LEC Championship. Since 2016, the Panthers are 7-1 in the LEC tournament, with their only loss, as I said before, in the championship. The Panthers come into this game having beat the Huskies in 9 straight games, last losing to them in 2011. And in those 9 games, the average score was 15-8. So historically, the Panthers have found a lot of success against the Huskies. That was not the case in the regular season. It was a very close 10-7 game.
Yeah, we expect to see something a lot similar to what we saw a couple of weeks ago down at the New Hampton School, and not having that 10-6 kind of lead for Plymouth State at the end. It felt like it was going to be a 1-goal game. And don't forget, Southern Maine got the first goal of the game too and got out ahead. But who is going to really step out is going to be the 3 here. They look at the top performers for Plymouth State in yesterday's semifinal against Keene State College. Veronica Daniels, 3 goals on 7 shots on goal. She did extremely well up top. Was kind of hidden at times in the first half, but her free position chances, her ability to move off the ball and open up lanes really helped out the Panther offense. You talked about it, Eric, a moment ago. Cindy Du Bois, number 18, has been stellar. 5 goals in that game to lead Plymouth State, but also her ability in the circle after goals, and 6 draw controls for Plymouth State in that game against Keene State, going up against that very strong freshman in Casey, who was outstanding, but was held off the score sheet really for the first time this year for Keene State. So hats off to the midfielding abilities of Cindy Du Bois and the rest of the Panthers side. And then Megan Allard came up big when she needed to. She had a couple of critical saves at the end of the first half, a couple of critical ones in the midpoint of the second half to keep that momentum building for Keene State. As she comes up, didn't have 5 goals against, but did have 8 saves, and she looks stellar and very calm between the posts for Plymouth State. But it's not only those 3, there's a lot of other players that stand out for Plymouth State going into this championship game. Yeah,
and just to take an in-depth look at the 3 stars for this game for the Panthers, starting off with Cindy Du Bois. She had a great semifinal game, as you said before, with 5 goals. She's second on the team in goals with 28 and third on the team in points with 35, so she is pretty decent at getting assists too, with 7 on the season. She is number one on the team in converting free position goals. 40% of her opportunities she has scored this season, so very good from there. And then she's also been fantastic at getting draw controls, leading the Panthers with 52, so really bossing the midfield throughout this season was Sydney DuBois.
On the other side of the field, the Huskies are in their 4th ever championship game in the Little East Conference. They have 1 championship to their credit. We'll show you right now what they have done in the Little East Conference championship game over the course of their career. Since the Little East again formed in 2002. They were runners-up in 2008. They are tournament champions in 2010 before falling in the first round at Colby College 16-5 in their only ever appearance. Again, this team, the women's lacrosse was not around from the 80s to 2000 at Southern Maine before it was brought back since the Little East Conference has been back with women's lacrosse, and then runners-up the last time they were in the tournament championship game, I believe it was against EastCon back in 2013. So they're looking for their 2nd ever championship. They're looking for their 2nd ever trip to the NCAA tournament, and they are looking for some redemption over Plymouth State here today in a team that has been very high-powered offense throughout this season.
Yeah, and the first thing that I noticed when I looked at their schedule and how they've done this season, they've only been held under 10 goals 4 games this season, and they have lost all of those games. So really, they've had a lot of pressure on their offense throughout the season to perform, and they have done that. This was a well-contested 10-7 win for the Panthers, as I said before, and it was, again, the Huskies struggling in the second half of that game, letting it slip away a little bit towards the last 10 minutes of that game. But again, a really stellar performance from a lot of their players on the defensive side, kind of shutting down the Panthers until late when they were able to pull away.
In addition to that, we look at the top performers for the Huskies against WestCon yesterday afternoon in semifinal number 2. When you mentioned one of your top players at the top of the pregame show, and Eliza Jordan, she had a stellar game, especially in the first half. 5 goals, 5 ground balls, but it was also the work of Lindsay Keene, who we haven't really seen climb the stat sheet as much as of late for the Huskies. She really worked well below goal line extended, had some great short side goals, and really disrupted what the Colonials were expecting. She had 4 goals in the game on 6 shots on goal. But Hayla Van Nostrand, we talked about it, absolutely stellar. 11 goals against, though, but 11 critical saves. And that scoreline yesterday could have been a lot different if not because they were outshot. It seemed as though WestCon, if they were able to just get the luck of the bounce off the post, if Van Nostrand was just a little bit late getting down low, might have come out with victory in an upset in a 2-3 game yesterday afternoon.
Yeah, and before I get to gush over Van Nostrand's performances this season, I'd like to touch on Lindsay Keene a little bit. 60% of her shots are goals this season, which is unreal. That's one of the best stats I could find throughout that entire Husky team. And now looking at Van Nostrand, in the game that I watched between the Panthers and the Huskies earlier in the season, she was phenomenal. The Panthers tried all game getting those quick bounce shots to get under her, try to get it over her. She was not having any of it. She was phenomenal against the Panthers, even pulling off a couple of stick saves, which I didn't even know were possible in women's lacrosse. And she's been phenomenal. She's 3rd in the LEC with goals against average at 11.3 and for goals against with 133. And she's 2nd in the LEC in wins with 8. So just a dominant and very good veteran goalie for the Huskies. As
we'll show you the goalie matchup going into this championship game, we just talked about it. Hayla Van Nostrand comes in with an 8-4 record, an 11.43 goals against average, and a 42.9 save percentage. Again, climbing here throughout the tournament and throughout the end of the season. She is going up against Megan Allard, who has been absolutely stellar, one of the top in the Little East Conference for Plymouth State. Megan Allard, number 24, comes in with a 7-4 record after the victory yesterday, and her goals against average has essentially plummeted. Yes, it was in the 9s yesterday going into the semifinal game, but down from like a 9.5 to a 9.07. Just unfathomable numbers in goals against average for Megan Allard, and a save percentage that jumps 2.5 points to a 43.4%. And these two goalies, you expect with their offenses to be strong and be a high-scoring game. I think it's going to be anything but with how these two are going to play between the pipes for both of their respective sides. Yeah, I really agree with that. Touching on Megan Allard really quickly, she was phenomenal against Keene State too. Didn't really touch on that, but she had 8 saves and a 61.5% save percentage, which is kind of unheard of in women's lacrosse. So just 2 fantastic goalies. It should be frustrating for both of these offenses. That's going to do it for us here on the pregame show. We're going to send it downstairs in a moment as stick checks are coming to an end to get ready for the starting lineups and national anthem. After the draw, we'll get Eric's keys to the game and his X factors. But get set, folks. Buckle in. It's going to be a fantastic Little East Conference Women's Lacrosse Championship game, and it's coming up next here on the LEC Network and Pemmy Baker TV.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Arrold Field for the 2019 Little East Conference Women's Lacrosse Tournament. Today's championship game features the second-seeded Huskies of the University of Southern Maine and the top-seeded Panthers of Plymouth State University. At this time, let's meet the starting lineups for today's game. First for the second-seeded Huskies. A junior from Saco, Maine, number 2, Darina Soroyes. A freshman from Freeport, Maine, number 4, Taylor Rinaldi. A junior from Portland, Maine, number 7, Megan Violette. A sophomore from Buxton, Maine, number 11, Alex Farley. A sophomore from Lewiston, Maine, number 13, Morgan Eliason. A sophomore from Lyman, Maine, number 15, Hannah Gorham. A freshman from Naples, Maine, number 18, Lindsay Keenan. A junior from Lyman, Maine, number 31, Allison Irish. A senior from South Portland, Maine, number 3, Tri-Captain Colleen Fleming. A senior from Gorham, Maine, number 12, Captain Eliza Jordan. In goal, a senior from Granbury, Connecticut, number 17, Captain Hala Van Nostrand. And a senior from Waterboro, Maine, number 22, Captain Mira Cooney. The head coach of the Huskies in her second season is Ashley Durpo. She's assisted by Sarah Pellegrinelli and Nicole Kennedy. And now the starting lineup for the top-seeded Panthers. Starting in goal, a sophomore from Amherst, New Hampshire, number 24, Megan Allard. A junior from Londonderry, New Hampshire, number 5, Sarah Jakes. A freshman from Alfred, Maine, number 7, Kaylee St. Laurent. A sophomore from Melvin Village, New Hampshire, number 9, Elizabeth McLaughlin. A senior from Concord, New Hampshire, number 11, Veronica Daniels. A sophomore from Londonderry, New Hampshire, number 12, Faye Brown. A senior from Merrimack, Massachusetts, number 16, Sam Fiore. A senior from Northborough, Massachusetts, number 17, Laura Harrington. A junior from Goffstown, New Hampshire, number 18, Sydney DuBois. A senior from Townsend, Massachusetts, number 2, Captain Kimberly Zuccaro. A senior from North Andover, Massachusetts, number 19, Captain Emily Sauls. And a senior from Hooksett, New Hampshire, number 22, Captain Sarah Thompson. The head coach of the Panthers in her third season is Sandy Bridgman. She's assisted by Carrie Howe and Rebecca Dale. At this time, we ask you to please rise as we honor America with the playing of our national anthem.
So there we have it, Eric, the starting lineups. We heard the fans, a great showing right now by Southern Maine on the road. Great support of the Huskies, but both teams are fired up. We saw it during warm-ups. Both teams are ready to go. Plymouth State looking for their 8th conference championship, their 3rd in a row. Southern Maine looking for their 2nd in program history.
Yeah, and my keys to the game for these two teams, starting off with the Panthers, is going to be, when I look back, since 2016, the Panthers are 22-4 in the LEC competition. That's an 85% win percentage. And in all of the 4 losses, they never managed more than 9 points, only scoring 9 once. So my key for them is going to be they need to get over 10 goals. That's been kind of the key for them in wins. And then for the Huskies have won every game in which they've taken a lead going into the halftime this season, and they've lost every game that they've been trailing at halftime this season. So really, they need to have a dominant performance in this first half to get a win. And moving on to my key players for the game, a little bit of an underrated attacker for the Panthers is Sam Fiore. She has 27 goals on the season and 5 assists. She's really been good, especially when someone else isn't performing and they need someone to step up. She's been able to do that. And then it couldn't be anyone else but Van Nostrand for me for the Huskies. Was superb against Plymouth in their first matchup this season. I expect she will do similar things in this one.
We'll see what's going to happen. Plymouth State in their home whites again today. They will go left to right across your screen to start the first half. Southern Maine in their road blue uniforms, going right to left here at Arrold Field. Again, the first time Plymouth State has played physically on campus here in 2019, and why not have it more of a special game, having it be the Little East Conference Championship. NCAA tournament on the line here for both schools. It's a win and get in next weekend. We'll see what's going to happen here as we are set to go in the 2019 Little East Conference Championship game in women's lacrosse. Du Bois are going up against Jordan, and we're underway in the championship game. And Jordan will snag this out of the sky for the Huskies and start the attack. Poor pass sent forward, and we looked at things, Eric, we saw trying to do the pregame show on Friday with the torrential rain, the field conditions. Walked it yesterday after the semifinals when we got back to campus, and it's very bumpy out there and very kind of wavy through the middle of the field. You wonder how much it's going to be difficult to pick up ground balls here this afternoon.
Yeah, and it's a little bit like when there's a bumpy infield in baseball and it's a line down the line. It's really hard to get skippy. It's hard to pick it up. It's almost like in soccer when it's a hard pass on the ground and a bump. You never really know where it's going to go. It'll be interesting to see if that affects the goalies. If they do try to hit some shots on the ground as well, it'll be a lot harder to interpret where the ball's going to go.
I was just thinking, Bruce Ballou and his grounds crew have done terrific work here over the last couple of weeks getting this field in playable condition, and it has firmed up as Daniels on the shot attempt, and it sneaks in under the stick there of Van Nostrand, and the Panthers have an early 1-0 lead.
Yeah, and Veronica Daniels just pulling some great jukes out of there, diving through the middle, and a great shot on the ground. That'll be her 43rd on the season. Superb shot there to open up the game for the Panthers. Just
gets past the defense, and you see that right there where we're just getting to that point there, Eric. That skip, it's not so much of a bounce that we saw yesterday off of the AstroTurf at Laconia High School. That one stayed down, and Van Nostrand was expecting it to come up a little bit higher, and we saw her flexing her stick after that goal. She's got to realize it's going to be lower. It's not going to come up as high as yesterday.
Yeah, and when they played at New Hampton School, the first matchup, it was bouncing pretty high. That's probably what she was expecting. You're exactly right there. She's going to have to adjust.
Again, it's going to be difficult as it's a nice snag for Sydney Du Bois on the draw control, and the Panthers getting some momentum here in front of the home crowd. But in addition to that kind of low skips, not a lot of bounce, because it's even though it feels firm, it's still pretty soft on the turf. You got that ruts in there. That's going to really deflect it and make it difficult for both goalkeepers here this afternoon. Panthers working back out top, 28-20 left here in the first half. 1-0 lead early on for the Panthers. Loose ball, Thompson's defended nicely by the Huskies as they try to break out of their own end. Jordan finds a triple team and leaves it off on the far side for Sorois.
Yeah, and Jordan did a great job of getting the ball out of their own defensive zone. She's great at attacking and defending for the Huskies here.
Soroy still with possession in the attacking third. Huskies looking for their first shot on goal here in the Little East Conference Championship game. Championship Sunday. Again, because of the postponement on Friday here for the semifinals. Rinaldi, she had a beautiful one in the first half yesterday, fed down low. Good defense and a flag here, and a free position shot coming for the Huskies with 27:31 left in the first half.
And this should be very interesting because the goalie should be expecting a low-driven shot, which does give the attackers the ability to maybe surprise them, go for a high shot up to the corner, so really could be anywhere on this one.
And it's the senior and Colleen Fleming from South Portland, Maine, going to have a free position pretty much straight on. Loses a handle on it, though, and smothered up by the Panthers. Tough break there for the Huskies.
Yeah, they're going to want that one back. Already down a goal. Can't waste too many of these early opportunities.
We saw that in the second half for Plymouth State in their semifinal against Keene State. A little bit of a bobble from Devin Mello on her third free position chance and just had it, out-cradled herself essentially before she even had a shot at opportunity. As the Panthers struggling to cleanly make it up field here. Loose ball, ground ball situation. Southern Maine was looking for a foul and screaming on the sideline is Ashley Durpo in her first season at the helm of the Huskies.
And we can already see it early on, those ground balls bouncing, not rolling, so really hard to collect it. There's going to be a lot of congestion in this midfield when the ball gets on the ground in this game.
Again, one of the few natural surfaces that Plymouth State and Southern Maine has played on here in 2019, and both teams struggling to adjust here early on. We see a slip there from Jordan as she picks up possession. Fed forward here for Fleming as he tries to make it over midfield and has some help. Rinaldi on her right-hand side. Good energy here at Emerald Field. Good crowd. With the NCAA tournament bid on the line in the Little East Conference. Jordan near side has to go up against Sauls. Gets the shot off and a save by Allard.
Yeah, she did a great job standing strong, putting her stick up right to meet Jordan's shot.
And a whistle here as the shot clock was reset and failed to start running after the shot and save in possession by Southern Maine. It's running here. The official's going to run some time off the shot clock at the moment. Sitting at 86 seconds as we get ready for the restart. Rinaldi has it up top and we're back underway here. Early action first half. Southern Maine trying to tie things up. Keenan, we saw her have a great first half. This fed down inside and missing the intended target right to Allard in net.
Yeah, and early on the Huskies are finding a little bit of a hard time getting a good shot opportunity. On the season, though, they were very good. 50% of their shots being goals. That's 9% better than the Panthers here.
Yeah, that pass was intended for Violet, but out of her reach, and the Panthers working up through midfield. Faye Brown attacking the right-hand side. Finds Sam Fiore, your X-Factor here today. Harrington did really well yesterday in the semifinal, below goal line extended, really controlling the high spot of the Panther offense. She has really gotten comfortable here in the second half of the season for Plymouth State on the attacking end.
Yeah, and it's so dangerous when you can get someone with the ball behind the net because the goalie will have to turn 180 degrees to face a shot, which is very difficult with such a small ball, such a hard shot.
Daniels with a nice spin move, cuts to the middle, a shot and a score for Veronica Daniels, and a 2-0 lead for the Panthers. My oh my, what a juke move on the far side there for Veronica Daniels.
Yeah, she's so shifty. For her second goal of the game, 44th of the season, a superb move, and then switching it up from down low to up high, changing the eye level on the goalie there.
24:41 to go here in the first half, just underway, and Plymouth State with an early 2-0 lead as Harrington will be subbed out for the Panthers. Kimi Zuccaro will check back in.
And Zuccaro was phenomenal in the first matchup between these two teams, scoring a couple diving goals and laying out, not afraid to go to contact.
Set to go on the draw once again. Sitting to boys and Jordan. Liza Jordan sending this one back, but McLaughlin's going to be there for the Panthers instead. So working over to Sam Fiore on the right-hand side.
And it's so important once you're down to try to get a couple of these draw controls to go your way. The Huskies have been unable to do that early on in this game.
Panthers stay in the perimeter. Zuccaro will work it well back up top here to Mello. Mello had her first 2 career goals yesterday, both coming on free positions in the second half. And why not get your collegiate scoring going in a semifinal game in your conference tournament?
Yeah, the right time to do it.
She had 4 quality free position chances in the second half coming in for Kimberly Zuccaro, who was in and out of the game all afternoon. But the freshman really settling down in that second half and made it almost feel like no beat was missed there as Daniels on the attack, and whistle here. We're going to have a free position. I couldn't see if it was 3-second or if it was shooting space, but nevertheless, Plymouth State with a chance to go up 3-0 early on.
And Veronica Daniels has been really good from free positions this season. She's 12-for-37 on those on the season.
Attack here on the right-hand side for her. She's got the 2 goals in this championship game. Daniels, pump fake, shot, and a save by Van Noysteren. A big skip out right to Jordan.
Yeah, Van Noysteren able to account for the soft ground on this one after the first goal, scooping that one up easily.
Tack here on. Left over and blocked down by the defense of Plymouth State. Good work by the Panthers. Another battle, but contact up high at the head of Alex Farley. So back on the attack go the Huskies. Left off by Violet on the far side. Working down low. Allard misses that pass. We saw her do that a couple of times yesterday, intercepting nicely against Keene State. Nearly get caught out there. And the Huskies still in possession. 45 seconds on the shot clock.
And I saw it a couple times in the first matchup between these two teams. They like to work it around to the right side to behind the goal, and then we'll see Jordan work all the way to the left and receive it for a shot.
And a foul here as there's contact up in the sphere against Keenan, working again that low-high, something she did extremely well in the wraparound shot attempts against the Colonials yesterday. She has a chance on a free position on the right side here for the Huskies and a chance to get on the board with 22:44 left in the first half.
And she's actually 5 for 6 on her free position shots this season, so very good when she gets the opportunity.
4 goals yesterday, as we talked about. Steps in and a shot and a save by Megan Allard.
And again, a great save from a goalie here in this one.
Panthers trying to counterattack quickly. Panthers hurrying forward with Daniel, splits the defense, and a shot misses wide. Flag went up, but the follow-through will negate the free position on the attempt. Plymouth State able to beat it out, though, to the end line and keep possession.
Yeah, and just another example of Daniels being dangerous, cutting right through the middle of that defense. Almost untouchable, it seems, early on in this game.
Defense chant coming from the Huskies bench just in front of our press box. Left near side for Mello, trying to turn the spin move into the middle. Thompson has it knocked away, but she's hitting a foul inside the arch and a free position for the Panthers. It's Sarah Thompson this time for the free position for Plymouth State.
Thompson is 40% scoring on these free position opportunities on the season.
A little bit of a better angle towards the middle. Thompson, the righty, shoots, lobs it in and scores. There was contact. It was great defense by the Huskies. They got the stick check in there, but Thompson able to float that one over the top and pick it out top left corner, and the Panthers have a 3-0 lead here at home.
Yeah, Thompson, I didn't even think she was going to be able to get the shot just because how fast the Huskies closed down, but able to almost lob it in, kind of a chip shot right over the stick of Van Noysteren in the top right corner.
Free position goal scored by number 20.
And that will be her 15th goal on the season.
Hats off to our fantastic crew here today, bringing you folks complete coverage of this Little East Conference Championship game. And Plymouth State now out to a 3-0 lead, just over 8 minutes into this one. Zuccaro trying to pick it up on a hop and does so in the middle of the field and has her pocket picked though by Rinaldi. but giving right back. Both teams working hard here in the midfield, and the Panthers are on the attack once again. And a foul here on the slash.
And Du Bois already has, I believe, 4 draw controls on the game. She's been phenomenal all season at that.
Far side for Daniels. She's got some running room on the left. Again, trying to shimmy away, splits a couple of defenders. Great defense, but they're going to call a foul here, and the clock is going to stop it, and we're going to have a card, and it looks like we will, and a yellow card to Southern Maine. The first of the game. It's Morgan Elyson who will pick up the yellow. We saw Southern Maine pick up 4 yellow cards yesterday in the semifinal, and Plymouth State with a free position and a man-up opportunity coming.
Yeah, and there were 5 total yellow cards in the first matchup between these teams, 3 for the Huskies in that one too.
Veronica Daniels will have it offset left here in the free position. Her, I believe, second one of the game. We'll get our live stats going here in just a second for you folks. Set to go in another free position. Shot off the post. Van Noystren's best friend comes up big once again. And a whistle and a stoppage, and shooting space is called.
And not an unfamiliar sight, the post, even between these two teams. I think she was gifted a couple post shots, I think 3 of them in their first matchup. So I don't know what she's doing, but she's been lucky.
So here we go for the Panthers. Mello with her chance, a shot and a save. Van Noystren right into her chest, didn't see it for a second, but able to stop another free position of the Panthers. The attack on shorthanded for Southern Maine for another minute 38. Lobbed down low to the left-hand side for Keene. And a whistle and a stoppage. And they're going to have an offsides here on Southern Maine, so a turnover, an unforced turnover on the Huskies.
Yeah, and they'll feel pretty unlucky with that. They really were going to try to maybe get some offense going. They have yet to score in this one, need to get back into it, because as I said before, they are much more of a first half team compared to Plymouth, who's been really good in the second half of game.
Yeah, I think they just forgot that there was a yellow card there on the attempt, trying to get too many in the attacking zone shorthanded. Panthers with possession left-hand side with Veronica Daniels. Over to Boys. Little stutter step. She had a low-angle shot yesterday for a goal. Battle down low, and Harrington's cross-checked in the back, and she'll get a free position here as clock will stop with 20:18 left here in the first half.
And Veronica Daniels is so dangerous with these cutting runs early in that she sucks defenders in, and I think she'll start to see some outlet passes, and she'll be able to get some assists as she works with the rest of her team.
We'll show you the fans out of a timeout and a whistle here, and they're going to call shooting space as Harrington was going to try to feed it right into the middle here. Fleming gets collided with a little bit by mistake. The pass trying to find Harrington, hit her up near the face. So we'll have another free position chance here. Tack on. Panthers going to work down low and cycle here on the man up. Low angle shot and a save by Van Noystren. A beautiful one downstairs, and the Panthers are robbed.
Just stellar reaction time for Van Noystren on that save.
Still 43 seconds left on the yellow card coming to Leeson.
And Van Noystren does like walking up a little bit and getting those big lobbed passes into midfield, something I'd watch for as this game continues.
Keene with possession, first time with the ball here this game, and we'll get into the attacking zone for Southern Maine. We see with that error before, Southern Maine kind of trying to figure out, making sure they're staying on side, and a late entry for the numbers they needed. Attack on with Farley, and she's stripped.
It'll be interesting to see, as they have struggled early on, if they try to get Jordan a little bit more involved in the offense. Early on, she did have a couple good passes, which led to good opportunities for the Huskies, but she's been quiet since then.
Contact on Brown, a turnover back to Southern Maine there on the attack as we're back to even strength. Fleming with a stutter step, defended nicely by McLaughlin. She'll leave it over to Jordan as the wind's picking up a little bit. right to left across your screen here into the face of the Panther defense. 18:50 left in the first half, 3-0 lead for Plymouth State. A high pass on Jordan and a whistle and a cover up, and it's going to go to Plymouth State.
And Du Bois, again, very good at getting the ball back for her team, bossing the midfield early on.
So Du Bois will be moved back towards her own cage for the restart. Sauls will play pass here with Sydney Du Bois. Emily Sauls with a couple of big second half stops yesterday against the Owls, and here comes Sauls into the attacking zone. She'll dump it off for Fiore and peel back to the midfield. Harrington trying to find an angle, will leave it off for Daniels. Another stutter step, triple teamed on Daniels. She still keeps possession though. So shifty is Veronica Daniels, in a card or a flag up and a whistle and a stoppage. We'll see what's going to be the call here, and it will be a free position.
And as we just saw, Daniels bringing in, I think, 3 defenders on her. So if she keeps being able to do that, she will definitely create good opportunities for the rest of her team to get open shots.
Tack here, Daniels in a shot, scored, bottom left. Veronica Daniels gets the hat trick here in the first half, and the Panthers have a 4-0 lead with 17:53 to go here in the first.
She wasted no time getting that shot off earlier in the game. They might have taken a couple more steps. I think she tried to catch Van Nostrand off guard, shooting it low. Didn't bounce it, but caught it into that bottom left corner. A great shot by Daniels.
Timeout on the field by Southern Maine. We'll take a timeout as well. Here on the LEC Network, it's the top-seeded Panthers 4, second-seeded Huskies 0 here on the LEC Network in Pemmy Baker TV.
The road to national championships runs through NCAA.com and the NCAA Sports app. And whether you follow one college team or all of them, it's never been easier to get the content you want all in one place. With live broadcasts of multiple championships across all divisions. With exclusive access.
Ready to go?
And highlights for every single championship. Stay in the game all season long with NCAA.com and the NCAA Sports app.
I just wanted to get good grades and to do well. But it also made me realize that I have a lot of career goals.
You're there to get a full college experience, not only participate in your sport.
Back here out of the timeout taken by Southern Maine, their first charged timeout of the first half, and a 4-0 lead right now for Plymouth State. Eric, and stats though still pretty even on most of the categories.
Yeah, other than shots and shots on goal, in which Plymouth has 9 and 7 of which on goal, compared to the 2 shots, 2 on goal for the Huskies. But other than that, I mean, free position shots, we know Plymouth has scored 2 of those, but saves 3-2 in favor of the Huskies, draw controls 3-1 in favor of the Panthers, ground balls 8-6 in favor of the Panthers, pretty even. And then turnovers, the only other big difference, 7 for the Huskies and only 4 for the Panthers.
Big difference there as Plymouth State looks to get on the attack. Huskies would love to answer right back here and stop the momentum right now. We've seen them go on a tear. They had 3 goals in the first 2 minutes of yesterday's semifinals against WestCon. We saw another 3-goal spurt in the second half, and they really came up big in Laconia yesterday, as this draw is going to be controlled by McLaughlin and the Panthers, and Plymouth State once again on the attack on the right-hand side. Fiore getting the matchup here against Gorham. Spins away from pressure. Thompson trying to set a little bit of a pick there. Fiore on the turnaround and a shot, and that might have been kicked there by Van Nostrand.
Yeah, a great spin move to get the opening there, just for the low-driven shot that Van Nostrand might have been able to hit away. I wasn't sure if it was that or the miss, but either way, a good creation of an opportunity there by Fiore.
Again, take nothing away from Southern Maine. Their offense has been stellar, again, thanks to now assistant coach and Sarah Pellegrinelli, who is one of the all-time best at Southern Maine on the offensive side. A lot of records for her, so she brings her wisdom to the Huskies here in 2019, and it has proven to be very beneficial for this Huskies side.
Yeah, the Huskies have had no problem scoring throughout this season, so a little bit of influence we can already see there.
Thompson has it below goal line extended. She'll try to cycle around the cage. Matched up quickly here with Eliasson, fed into the middle and knocked away from Fiore. Good defense once again by Southern Maine. And Neustrin using her 10 seconds wisely in the crease, and now will work out with her defense. Again, beautiful crowd here at Errold Field as we have a turnover. Still trying to find possession. Huskies able to recover with 61 seconds on their shot clock.
Yeah, as I was going to say, it is very loud. It really helps when you're on the field to hear the crowd behind you. It motivates you, makes you play better.
This one lobbed forward and attack on, just out of the reach of the Panther defense, and St. Laurent just over her reach. Huskies going to work on the near side and work with Keene below the cage. See, she tries to go with her classic wraparound on that far post. She loves that left side of the goalies. Goes over the top, though, and it's over everyone. Back out to Jordan.
Yeah, and Jordan loves working that top left part of their offensive zone. Likes finding passes into the middle. Really good at creating assists and good opportunities for her team.
Loose ball covered up. It'll go over to Southern Maine here. Approaching the midpoint of the first half, 4-0 lead for Plymouth State here in the Little East Conference Championship game. A shot and a save by Allard.
Yeah, great reaction speed from both of these goalies early on as they have to quickly move their stick down to block those low shots.
Good work by Alex Farley to get that one down low and on the inside post. Past the 15-minute mark, Keenan senses the double team, will leave it back up top for Jordan. Jordan cuts off to her left, gets the shot off, and a save by Megan Allard.
Wow, very good reaction time yet again, being able to just lift her stick up and collect that shot pretty easily there from Allard.
She'll work it out with Sauls right up and over the cage, working it over to Mello, who is bumped for the foul.
Maybe Jordan just trying to slow it down, let her defense collect themselves.
Charging forward here is St. Laurent from the defensive side. She'll leave it off for Sam Fiore at a little bobble, gathers it back up though on the hop. Looking for the cycle. Spins it away from herself, able to gather it up once again. Daniels has 3 goals today. She'll have it up top. Huskies really working more and more with that man-to-man defense.
And you got to wonder, with how dangerous Daniels has been working in, if that man defense is something that the Panthers are going to try to take advantage of, as it sort of doesn't let the Huskies sort of converge on Daniels as much.
23 seconds now on the shot clock. One of them slow, so it's down to 20 seconds. And gathered up and picked up here by the Huskies in a fresh shot clock. Only one of them working for a moment. But here comes Southern Maine on the attack, right up the midfield with Megan Violet. She'll leave it off to the far side. Jordan out top will set up her offense, looking for a screen. We've already seen it so far, Eric. Very similar attacking styles by both of these schools, kind of getting that one-on-one matchup with the rotation off the ball. We don't see as much of that pick plays off the ball and trying to get someone open as we did yesterday between, with Keene State trying to come back against the Panthers and especially WestCon throughout that game against Southern Maine.
Yeah, you're right. I think we've only maybe seen Sam Fiore try to work a pick play over on their offensive, as she did kind of spin and miss that shot earlier. But yeah, you're right. A lot of just movement without the ball is how these offenses like to work.
Fleming will leave it off, and a stoppage here, and a foul committed. 12:31 to go here in the first half. The clock stopped. 29 seconds on the shot clock here for the Huskies.
And despite no goals, they have been able to create really good shot opportunities. Their only 4 shots have all been on target for the Huskies.
So it will be a free position here for Jordan on the left-hand side. Gets the attack and defended beautifully by Plymouth State. They'll knock it away. That was Sidney Du Bois who came in on the right-hand side to free up the ball, and another great defensive stop by St. Laurent, but it's still with Southern Maine.
Yeah, and Jordan's been so lethal on free position opportunities. She's 19 for 34 in the season, so a really good defensive stop there from the Panthers.
Again, Jordan with a spectacular semifinal performance yesterday. A shot attempt, and they will grant her a free position even though she followed through in Fleming.
And Fleming 50% on the season on these free position opportunities as well. Not as much with only 14, but still she's been very good when she's getting the opportunity.
Laura Harrington ready to check in for Plymouth State here on the left. Colleen Fleming and a shot, and that one goes over the crossbar, and another great defensive stop. And Plymouth State back close enough with Emily Salzin. They'll win possession back.
Yeah, and a lot of shots for the Huskies have been up high. Maybe they're thinking throw the goalie off, but in my opinion, just throw it down low, get some bounces, because even if you're not accurate, you never know if a bounce of a shot that was going to go wide bounces in. I think there's more opportunity for them to get lucky if they go low.
Huskies just need one, and see if their floodgates can open. We've seen it multiple times this year, as we mentioned. Quickly down low, turnaround shot. Fiore misses on the near post. Panthers will beat out the foot race to the end line with Sarah Thompson.
And she's so good in those opportunities, almost using it like a low post in basketball, having some really good moves there. Off target barely a couple of times here early on.
Cycled over to Du Bois, has it stripped from her. Right to Daniels, though. Contact and a whistle here, and it will be a free position now for Plymouth State on the left-hand side.
And Daniels, great reaction time to pick up that ball and continue the offensive possession and then to get this opportunity.
Officials will come together to make a ruling here. See if anything else comes of this. I saw some contact up high, but nothing really egregious or anything worthy of a card. Definitely a free position, but really impressed so far, Eric, with the Huskies defense. Yes, they've had a couple of fouls and a lot of free possessions against them here in the first half, but they are stripping, and they're going to turn it over here. Oh my. So they are going to call it a charge there on Plymouth State instead. So just like that, again, good defense.
Yeah, and you got to love the willingness of the referees to sort of change their call, admit that they were wrong in conference. That's what you like to see, them getting it right.
Under 11 minutes to go in the first half.
And as we were talking about before, the Huskies have been very good on defense despite giving up 4 goals early on. They noticed Daniels has been superb getting through them, cutting straight down the middle. They adjusted. Now they converge every time she's down there, and they found much more success defensively since then.
Fleming here on the left-hand side, off to the restart. Trying to match up one-on-one with Mello. And will peel away and cycle back up top. Starting to see a little bit more intensity, Eric, from Southern Maine. Getting a lot more off-the-ball movement here in the latter part of this first half.
And it was the latter part of the first half and their first meeting this year where they really came alive, getting it much closer than it was, as they did jump out to that early 1-0 lead, but Plymouth got back into that game early and went on a bit of a run, and then USM went on a run late in the first half to even that game up, or almost even that game up, and bring it really close.
That cover up there on Plymouth State, so possession stays with the Huskies. 17 on their shot clock. Have to work quickly down low with Keene, working over to Jordan, and a shot and a save by Megan Allard once again.
And a great 1-2 by Jordan there, but still unable to get past this great goalie in Megan Allard for the Panthers.
Lizzie Perry getting ready to come in now for Plymouth State. A few more subs for Southern Maine as well, getting ready. We see Rinaldi on the sideline ready. Knocked around and picked up by Faye Brown, and a push in the back stays with Plymouth State, but they're going to move Faye Brown back. A little bit too much of a jump for her there on the restart.
And just a quick update on Megan Allard's performance. She already has 5 saves on the day.
Sauls, nice cut over midfield. She'll get in the attacking zone and turn the Jets on. Joke with her as the defender, doesn't have a goal. Obviously, she had some chances yesterday, and she's like, no, Had to peel away for the attackers. Had to play my role and my part for the team. This one will roll out of play and stay with Plymouth State.
It's always good to hear the do-your-job mentality in New England.
Perry loses eye on that one, and she's tackled from behind a little bit. Quick restart here for Plymouth State.
And despite that bump, she did do a good job at keeping the ball with her.
You see just with that slight contact and going to the ground how soft this turf is from all the rain. A shot off another post for Plymouth State. The second one of the day, but it's gathered up by the Huskies.
Yeah, and Thompson is going to have to feel hard done by that one. Getting up and over the goalie, but still unable to beat the post.
Oh, Van Nostrand has gotta be, whatever she's doing to maybe shrink the post in or whatever she's done with the voodoo on the post has worked well for her here in the tournament. My goodness.
Yeah, I'm not sure how she does it, but she's got to keep doing what she's doing.
Semifinals and now championship game, 6 posts against her, so goalie's best friend for sure.
And I think a part of that is her positioning, taking up as much of the goal as she can.
She's been absolutely stellar in that. Good call. Jordan on the attack left side against McLaughlin. McLaughlin strips her, but commits the foul, though. Wasn't expecting that one on the strip. .728 clock stopped here, left in the first half. 4-0 lead for the Panthers.
And Liza Jordan's still up over 50% on the conversion rate of these free position opportunities. So exactly who you'd want in this opportunity for the Huskies.
It's a low-angle attempt for her, though. She'll get the start, cuts to the middle, and a shot, another save by Megan Allard, and she will just rob Jordan. And Jordan struggling to find the back of the net, but she's getting quality chances.
And with her 6th save, Megan Allard, has been fantastic at just meeting the attacker's stick, not even letting them get the ball out before it's in hers.
St. Laurent going to work over to the near side and find some help, and Faye Brown's got some running room over midfield. No one near her.
And that's been a theme all game. The Panthers have been able to just carry it through the midfield. Not a lot of press early and up the field from the Huskies.
Harrington cycling behind the cage once again. Cooney will meet her. Du Bois over to McLaughlin. Down to 40 seconds on the shot clock for Plymouth State here. Winning moments of the first half. Bouncing around, Thompson able to keep possession somehow with great defense by the Huskies. A pass looking for Perry will roll out, and it will go to Southern Maine.
Just a little unlucky with the pass there, but I love the run Perry made, getting open just on the inside between the defender and the goal.
So Huskies working calmly out of their own end right now, trailing by 4. Under 6 minutes left in the first half.
And they've been able to score in bunches as well this season, so there is no reason to panic here early on. Use the entire shot clock, get the best shot you can.
And Allard coming out of her crease and makes the stop. There's a foul behind with contact, but Megan Allard reading the passes here by Southern Maine.
And being a bit of a sweeper keeper here early on.
I like that. Sweeper, keeper. Patting that. St. Laurent working over midfield after the restart by Plymouth State. Finds help up top with Harrington. Has her pocket pick held the other way, Megan Violet, but commits the foul. Oh, I thought it was clean. Tough one there for Southern Maine.
Yeah, and again, despite the foul, really good defense here early on in this defensive possession here for the Huskies.
Fiore will leave it back out top. Du Bois will just start the perimeter setup here for Plymouth State. Mello on the near side with Sam Fiore now with possession, getting the one-on-one. Thought about cutting inside.
And I think the Huskies are noticing that the Panthers like to drive and pass, keeping their sticks up high, trying to avoid giving them those opportunities.
23 on the shot clock. One of them just goes out right now with some more issues, but one of them still going down to 16. Pass in front. A shot and a save by Van Nostrand. A whistle blows. It's a crease violation. The goal is waved off. Possession back to Southern Maine. A great call there by the officials.
Yeah, and she using her body to get in front of it, absorbing that shot. Another great example of how to be a goalie from Van Nostrand.
So only one shot clock working at the moment on the left side of the Plymouth State defensive third. A turnover, and here comes Daniels with a great strip in midfield. And a stoppage here on the officials. It looks like we're going to have a card, and we are going to have a yellow card against Southern Maine. And Megan Violet, the junior, will pick up her first yellow card of the game, the second one for the Huskies.
It looked like she may have just gotten a little bit of the face there of Daniels.
So second yellow card of the first half here issued to Southern Maine. With 4:07 to go here in the first half, Plymouth State with a 4-0 lead. So we're going to move now the possession clock right at midfield across the way.
And with 4 minutes left in this half of it will be with an advantage for the Panthers. So if I was them, I would really try to use the entire shot clock and use the advantage and just get the best opportunity. Don't score fast when you have an advantage. Get the right shot.
So wait for a little stoppage here, and get ready to go here on the restart. Daniels has it in front of us on the right-hand side, and we're back underway. McLaughlin on the left side. Working over to Mello. Plymouth State would love to go up 5 here. Southern Maine would just love a beautiful stop and get the counterattack. We saw that work for them 4 times in the first half. Get a stop and score the other way right away. Contact up high on McLaughlin. We'll have a whistle and a free position coming to Plymouth State once again here in the first half.
And McLaughlin looking to improve on her 11 goals on the season with this free position opportunity.
McLaughlin looking for her first goal of the game. And she will just step in and work back out top here with Mello and kill some time.
I think that was a smart decision still with this advantage. Once it's a free position shot, you kind of lose that advantage as they can just crash. So I like the idea of just passing and resetting.
Free position here for the Panthers as shooting space is called on the Huskies. So City Du Bois will have a free position on the left-hand side of the arch. She'll take an attack here, cuts past a couple of defenders, but is stripped. Good work by Southern Maine again. We saw that by Plymouth State, and it's Colleen Fleming getting the stop.
Yeah, doing a really good job of just crashing and not letting them follow through and get the shot opportunity.
A whistle here, and a quick restart. Now the clock will be stopped here with 3:09. There's too much of a restart here for Southern Maine. Going to bring it back into the defensive third. But again, hats off to both defenses here this afternoon, especially in the first half, as a whistle again and a stoppage. And the officials going to come together once again. They are indeed. Don't know what for.
And while we have this time, I've noticed a little bit of a different strategy from both these defenses. The Panthers are much more willing to come up and press the offense from the start and sort of make them work through the midfield, as opposed to the Huskies, who are much more willing to let them run all the way through the midfield and just sit back and absorb the pressure and then work more defensively once they pass that midfield line into the attacking zone.
Restart here after the discussion by the officials. Don't know what for, but Sorois will lob it all the way across the field, and now it's with Cooney. Cooney under a lot of pressure, though, and has her pocket stripped. All alone here is Harrington, 1-on-0. Shot and a save by Van Nostrand, and that has the Huskies bench absolutely fired up.
Just unbelievable for Van Nostrand, doing another great job at just absorbing and taking up that entire goal and then working down and quickly reacting to that low shot and scooping it up. Just a superb performance early on from Van Nostrand.
You gotta hope that really sparks the Huskies here and gets their offense going. A foul on Plymouth State in the midfield, but what a stellar defensive stop 1-0 for Southern Maine.
And you can't help feel the momentum a little bit if you're one of the Huskies. It's very encouraging when you see your goalie make a couple stupendous saves. And then that gives you the more motivation to say, hey, we've got a rock back there. Let's go and win this, get some more goals.
Coming up on 2 minutes to go, we're back to even strength now as the yellow card penalty to Megan Violet comes to an end as she will re-enter the field. Irish, who's been quiet here in the first half, runs into a double team and an offensive foul on her on the charge. Plymouth State with possession. Tough one there for Southern Maine once again.
Yeah, both teams now committing a charge. Both teams probably want the attacking opportunity back.
Approaching the final 90 seconds here in the first half. Zuccaro. A correction, that's Faye Brown on the left-hand side, loses a handle of it, now commits a foul from behind, and possession back to Southern Maine.
Brown was doing a bit of a Zuccaro impersonation as she is known for carrying that ball very well up through the midfield.
Minute 6 to go. Keene at the center circle will lob it forward and well over the head there, unfortunately, of Fleming and out of play. Chance for Plymouth State here in the final minute of action in the first half, with the Panthers leading by 4. McLaughlin gets in the attacking zone, will leave it off on the far side as the Huskies get back defensively. Final 30 seconds of the first. Harrington will work below goal line extended. She was just robbed on that takeaway, and the breakaway chance for her, again, a couple of minutes ago. Lobbed well outside to McLaughlin. A whistle blows, and shooting space is called.
And unfortunately, we weren't even able to comment on how great Harrington did to get that ball back and create the opportunity because Van Norshen made such a good save.
Clock stop with 15 seconds. A shot and a goal! McLaughlin takes contact on the hand. She's a little shaken up, but she gets the goal in Plymouth State with a 5-0 lead with exactly 12 seconds left in the first half, and hopefully she will be okay.
And that was another example of Plymouth State shooting it low and getting the goal against Van Norshen. Probably the highest percentage shot they will have on the day, shooting it low, an unpredictable ball.
So Southern Maine was pleading for a violation after the goal of McLaughlin picking up her stick, but the officials will negate that and the goal will count, and a 5-0 lead for Plymouth State here in the closing seconds of the first half.
And Plymouth State being a very good second half team, they're going to love that they have this advantage going into that.
Du Bois and Eliza Jordan on the draw once again. Two of the best draw specialists in the Little East Conference doing battle here today. Whistle blows, straight up and down, good contact, and unfortunately it's against Southern Maine. Oh, correction, it's against Plymouth State. And Du Bois, an attack here in the closing seconds for Southern Maine if they can hurry. Zuccaro all over as time will expire here in the first half. A 5-0 lead for Plymouth State at the break. And Eric, what are your biggest takeaways from the first 30 minutes of action?
My biggest takeaway is the Panthers have been very willing to contest the midfield and power through the midfield, while the Huskies have been sort of shy, not really wanting to press. I think maybe in the second half, if the Huskies get more aggressive and be willing to press, they'd see less success from this Plymouth offense and maybe more opportunities off a turnover. As you said, they were great getting breakaways and scoring 4 goals off those. I think I'd look for more of an aggressive defense and a higher pressing defense in the second half.
Well, we'll see if Plymouth State can hold on in the second half or the Huskies have something special in the final 30 minutes of the championship game. We'll step aside, take a commercial break. Here on the LEC Network, it's the top-seeded Panthers 5, the second-seeded Huskies nothing here in the championship game.
This telecast is copyrighted by the NCAA for the private use of our audience. Any other use of this telecast or any picture, descriptions, or accounts of the game without the NCAA's consent is prohibited.
to national championships runs through NCAA.com and the NCAA Sports app. And whether you follow one college team or all of them, it's never been easier to get the content you want all in one place. With live broadcasts of multiple championships across all divisions. With exclusive access.
Ready to go? Let's have some fun.
And highlights for every single championship. Stay in the game all season long with NCAA.com and the NCAA Sports app.
When you're in college, you kind of find out who you are. And throughout your 4 years, you develop yourself with all the different experiences, which leads into dedicating yourself to your community, to your family. So when you're a senior, you're coming out a well-rounded person.
College has given me the flexibility to pursue my passions and my interests outside of the classroom and outside of the court or field. I've had the ability to get into different activities and organizations, and I've recreated my identity for myself aside from just being an athlete.
Getting to be involved in a lot of different things, ranging from obviously being a student athlete to getting involved with my campus and my community, and not only being allowed to do that, but being encouraged to do that.
The opportunity to be able to study what I wanted to and continue to play the sport I love, to have the professors know me on a personal level, all of those things came together very nicely in one package in Division III.
Being a part of the different activities and organizations that I've been a part of, I'm actually able to see myself where I'm like, hey, I actually can make a change. I'm one person that can make a difference. It really helps you develop thinking from other people's perspectives and looking at problems from outside the box.
Division III has helped me to develop teamwork skills, critical thinking skills, time management skills.
I've definitely learned how to really be myself. I found out, yes, I am actually a good leader, and yes, I can actually put myself forward because I am good enough. I can do it.
Coming in to college, I just wanted to get good grades and to do well. But it also made me realize that I have a lot of different career goals, and I've learned so much about myself that I was always like growing and changing.
When I got to college, it forced me to step up and become more of a leader. And I think that was something I had the capability of doing. And forever grateful that being at a Division III school gave me that opportunity.
You have to dedicate your time in the classroom, you have to dedicate your time in the gym, on the field, on the court.
Our coaches and the entirety of the athletic department, they valued the student athlete going out into community and trying something new and getting involved in campus life.
You can get involved in so many different things. So the possibilities are truly limitless for what you can do with your college experience. You can kind of make it your own in the Division III setting. So I would encourage people who want to have flexibility to pursue different interests and passions to go D3.
Hi, I'm Mark Emmert, President of the NCAA. We at the NCAA are committed to making sure our student athletes make the most out of their college experience. That means getting a degree. Doing well in school will help you make the most out of your education as well. We want you to study hard, read at least 30 minutes a day, and learn everything you can, because we know just how important it is to your future. While the young men and women that play college sports may be great athletes, each is a student first. Just like you, NCAA college athletes need to stay focused on their health and their schoolwork. Very few of them will go on to play professionally. That's why education is so important. What they learn on the field and in the classroom prepares them for life. Just remember, every NCAA student athlete was once a third grader too. Education is important at all levels, from elementary school all the way to college. With lots of hard work, those college athletes made their dreams come true. So can you. Doing well in school this year will set you on the path to opportunity and success.
I'm a Division III student athlete, and I know how powerful words can be. The term gay doesn't mean stupid, lame, or less than.
So I pledge to speak up if I hear the term gay used in a derogatory way or any other homophobic terms.
If you can play in Division III.
I'm a Division III student athlete, and my teammates unconditionally accepted me as part of their family. So now I pledge to do the same for others. If you can play in Division III.
For the love of the game. But for those of us who are Division III student athletes, it's more than that, a lot more.
Sure, the game is important, but as we work so hard to build both mind and body, it's more about team.
That is why NCAA Division III teamed up with Special Olympics, and in giving the gift of sport to those for whom it seemed an impossible dream, we are working to make this a better world.
Help us keep that dream alive.
You can make a difference.
Diving in college taught me to strive and be the best athlete I can be, but also the best student I can be. My coaches always made sure that the student comes first, because not everyone's gonna become a professional athlete. So they make sure that we will do great in academics. I knew that would only open the door to my future, and I'm really excited to start my dream program for physical therapy.
Something I discovered in myself is that if I have a goal, then I can accomplish it.
It's a well-rounded experience.
At a Division III school, you primarily a student athlete, so the school is really shaped around you developing yourself as a complete individual.
It helps a lot that you have a family with your team that can guide you.
Welcome back, fans, here to Arrow Field. A couple of minutes left here in halftime. As you can see, a great crowd on the Plymouth State side of the field right now. They are lining the sideline, having to be held back by the fence. You look over at Southern Maine, a great showing on the traveling side of things. We'll show you in just a second. Now here on your screen, a good showing for the Huskies as well. As Eric, we'll turn our attentions to the stats. We got your input on what you thought of the first half of action before we went to break, but let's look at the team comparison and the individual stats here after the first 30 minutes of action.
So after the first 30 minutes, starting off with the Panthers, they have 17 shots, 11 of which were on target. They are 3 of 7 for free position shots. There's Megan Allard had 6 saves, 4 draw controls for the Panthers, 12 ground balls, 10 turnovers, 7 caused turnovers, and 15 fouls. Looking at the Huskies, a lot less shots with 7, but very good at getting it on goal with 6 of those being on target. 0 for 3 with free position shots, something they're going to look to work on in the second half. 6 saves also, 2 draw controls, 13 ground balls, 12 turnovers, 6 caused turnovers, and 18 fouls. And looking at the players that were notable in that first half, it was Veronica Daniels getting 3 goals, Sarah Thompson getting 1 goal, and Elizabeth McLaughlin getting 1 as well.
Don't forget 2 yellow cards for Southern Maine in that first half, 1 against Megan Violet, 1 against Allie Austin as well. So Morgan's got to be careful. Same with Megan here in the second half. They get another yellow card. Their championship will be done, and that could be 2 critical spots in attack and at midfield for the Huskies. They've got to watch out for. But looking at things, Eric, we kind of saw, we looked at the stats over break. We saw kind of recapped what was going on during commercial break. But new keys to the game. What does Plymouth State need to focus on here in the second half, knowing that there's going to be a hard charge from Southern Maine, and vice versa? What does Southern Maine need to do to climb back into this championship? We've seen them go on tears in goals here throughout the season.
So for the Panthers, I'd say continue what you're doing on defense. Make it very hard for the Huskies to get good opportunities, because the Huskies don't like taking shots they know isn't a good opportunity. Only 7 shots, 6 of which were on goal. So, and if I'm the Huskies, I say, I know I want to get good opportunities, but maybe take a little bit more risk offensively, take some little bit more outside of the box shots just to get more shots on target. Make Megan Allard work a little bit more, because she's been so solid. I think once they can get 1 past her, they'll get the momentum to maybe get a couple more and go on a run. But the first goal in this second half is probably one of the more crucial of the game.
Yeah, we'll see if it comes for Plymouth State. It could be a tough hill to climb for the Huskies, but Southern Maine, again, started yesterday, 3 goals in 90 seconds, a 3-goal spurt in the second half that really quieted the momentum of the Colonials in that semifinal and really secured the deal. We've seen them go on tears. It's how can they get their offense going? They haven't been able to really break up that man-to-man defense of Plymouth State. See if they can get a little bit more screens here and kind of use that playbook that worked well for WestCon against them yesterday. A lot of stack-ups working off. We saw Bradshaw get free and a couple of beautiful opportunities in the first and second half. We'll see if the Huskies can do that with Jordan. If not, I would love to see Irish get going again behind the cage. Same with Keenan, who was very strong in that semifinal yesterday. If they can work low to high, get Megan out, and as you talked about in the first half, Eric, spinning that 180 degrees and tough to get set. That quick pass up, not high, not to the top of the arch, but just outside of the crease. That catch and release, it's going to be very difficult for the Panthers to defend.
Yeah, and because Allard was so good at meeting the attacker at the high point of their shot and not letting him get the shot off, I would say for the Huskies, shoot earlier, shoot farther away from Allard. Don't let her meet you. Don't let her close down the angle so much.
But in addition to that, you talked about it as well, referencing the first half. Southern Maine keeping everything waist high up on their shots. We didn't see anything, even on free positions that they had a chance on, skipping anything in. Everything was high. Plymouth State worked the skip shots in the beginning of the first half. See if they can get something going with the tune-up conditions, especially with the creases now in the second half of this one. We're waiting for the shot clocks to turn back on here. Little technical difficulty going into the second half. So we wait here again. Looking at things, Plymouth State got out early. Goals in the first couple of minutes of the game. Sporadic from there. Veronica Daniels looked very, very strong in the opening minutes. Was able to spin off. Both teams have defended nicely. I can't count how many times without even seeing the live stats in the play-by-play of the defenders getting the strip on their attackers and working back out the other way despite the 5-0 scoreline.
Yeah, and a good example of that from the Huskies is when Veronica Daniels had really good success early in the first half, and once they started noticing the Huskies adjusted, and when she tries to make those cutting runs down the middle, they did a great job at converging and forcing her out to get an outlet pass.
So the shot clocks are back on. We are set to go here in the second half of the 2019 Little East Conference Championship game as the Panthers look for their 3rd straight title. The Huskies looking for their 2nd in program history. Set to go on the draw once again between Du Bois and Jordan, and still loose. Du Bois one-handed snags it on the hop, and the Panthers get their attack going here to start the second half. Plymouth State going to take their time to start. McLaughlin has it out top.
Yeah, and I'd look for, as this second half goes on, if Plymouth State is able to keep that advantage longer and longer possessions from the Panthers.
Again, fans, stay tuned. Post-game, we'll have complete coverage of the post-game ceremony here live on the LEC Network and Pemmy Baker TV. Zuccaro back in to start the second half. Little stutter step, splits a couple of defenders, and she's fouled, and it looks like she'll get a free position.
And Zuccaro was phenomenal in the second half of the first game between these two teams. As I said before, getting 2 diving goals, I think, and also a diving assist somehow in the second half of that first matchup.
She'll get the attack, free position shot, and the shot misses on the near post. Tries to get that skip, held onto it a little bit too long, and this one's knocked away, and great defense again by Southern Maine.
Yeah, and I think a theme we've seen from both offenses is maybe taking a little bit too much time before they get the shot off. It's kind of like in soccer when you see someone who you think is going to score, just take one too many touch and the goalie's able to come out and get it.
Panthers have this on a turnover as it rolls out of bounds on the far sideline, and Plymouth State with Harrington will cycle behind the cage. Mello up top into the game now for Zuccaro. Left off for Daniels, getting the one-on-one matchup against Soroyce, and a shot off the post again, and another save in the addition there with Van Nostrand. Loose ball at the top of the crease, knocked around and gathered up by Southern Maine, but only for a second before a hard foul on the far side. The clock will stop with 28:16 to go here in the second half.
And with so much congestion in that defensive area for the Huskies, they did a great job getting out of that without really letting up a second shot opportunity.
Back underway on the restart here. The foul committed, I guess, by Sarah Thompson. She was the one lined up behind. So Royce, nice spin in the middle, loses a handle on it though, defended by Harrington, and a foul here on Plymouth State, given right back over to the Huskies. 60 seconds on the shot clock for Southern Maine here. It's Fleming trying to find an outlet. We've seen Plymouth State, Eric, step up a little bit more and get a little bit more pressure defensively in the midfield, and it's been very difficult for Southern Maine to get offense set up.
Yeah, every time I've watched this Panther team, they've done a great job at setting a tone in the second half and pressing. It's very hard once you're down in a game to overcome a really effective and disciplined press. They're not pressing and running all over. They're disciplined about it. They're staying in their positions, and they're doing a really good job.
Here comes an attack and a foul. Jordan has it knocked free as she goes for the shot attempt. She'll get a free position on the left-hand side, and a chance for the Huskies now in the second half to get on the board. Would love to get one here.
And Jordan was 0 for 2 in the first half from these opportunities. She's going to look to rectify that here.
Liza Jordan on the left side has an attempt, defended nicely. A shot goes over the crossbar, and it's going to stay with Southern Maine. Flag was up, but the attempt made, so we'll negate another free position, but good work by Irish back on the end line.
And again, I think just another example of waiting a little bit too long to take a shot. I think if she went earlier, she'd have a much better opportunity.
Good feed inside, shot score! Megan Violet, the junior for Southern Maine, gets the Huskies on the board here in the second half, and it's a 5-1 lead for Plymouth State with 26:47 to go here in regulation.
And Megan Violet taking one of the only shots aimed low and towards the legs of Megan Allard and finding really good success getting her 19th goal of the season. I think that's going to have to be a trend for these Huskies, shooting low and shooting often.
But it was also the great off-the-ball movement, allowed that quick pass inside. That worked well for them yesterday against WestCon, and you're like you said, that low-high shot put Megan Allard off balance, and it's a 5-1 game now as the Huskies are on the board.
Yeah, and it was almost a deceptively smooth attacking move, just working around very easily. It happened before you knew it, the goal was in.
Set to go on the draw here, and it's one out by Southern Maine.
And I think that's going to have to be a key for Southern Maine when they do score. They're going to have to get those draw controls if they're going to try to get back into this and limit the offensive opportunities for the Panthers.
Eliasson doing well on the draw here in the second half for Southern Maine. Fleming going to work over to the left side with Rinaldi. Rinaldi cuts in the middle, splits the defender, shot, score! Taylor Rinaldi, the freshman, gets her second goal of the tournament. And it's a 5-2 lead now, and here comes Southern Maine.
Yeah, and we've seen this before. The Panthers were up, I think it was a 5-goal lead as well on the Huskies, and they were able to battle back and tie that up. A really great shot from Rinaldi here. Again, a low-driven shot, and it led to a goal.
We'll see if Plymouth State doesn't look like they're going to take a timeout yet. They're trying to figure out what they're going to do to slow down this new-look Huskies offense. And the bench is fired up for Southern Maine just in front of us as they get 2 quick goals here in the second half and cut the lead for Plymouth State down to 3.
And they've taken more shots than they had already early on in the first half, have the Huskies, but they haven't been been lower opportunity shots. They're still 10 for 8 with shots being on target.
Whistles as shot clock on the right score. Shot clock is not resetting. It's stuck at 70. The one on the left side is now saying 80. It's a delay here, and it gives time for Southern Maine to keep their bench fired up, and it's really kind of that brought that momentum back to the Husky side of the field, and they're feeding off of that right now.
Yeah, it's almost like the bench when someone dunks in a basketball game, feeding the offense and making them have the momentum and carrying them in to get back into this game.
So shot clock will be moved back to midfield here with the technical difficulties. We apologize for the delay at times. We hope you fans are enjoying this game here on the LEC Network on Championship Sunday, as the shot clock now has turned off. 26-19 to go here in the second half. A 5-2 lead for Plymouth State. And Eric, with this little delay we have right now, what's impressed you most by both teams, or what stands out the most, I should say, here to start the second half?
I've been really impressed by the Huskies' willingness to attack in force and create themselves really good opportunities. And as far for the Panthers, I'd say, yeah, they've given up 2 quick goals, but their defense isn't necessarily lacking. They are doing a great job at pressing. I just think maybe doing a little bit job of converging in the middle and clogging that up, not giving them so many open opportunities.
We'll step aside, take a quick commercial break here as the shot clocks are going to be changed out. So we'll be back in about a minute's time as we get set for the restart here on the Little East Conference Championship game on the LEC Network. It's a 5-2 lead for Plymouth State.
Being a part of the different activities and organizations that I've been a part of, I'm actually able to see myself where I'm like, hey, I actually can make a change. I'm one person that can make a difference.
Division III has helped me to develop teamwork skills, critical thinking skills, time management skills.
It's not just about basketball, or it's not just about school, it's about developing yourself as a person altogether.
College has given me the flexibility to pursue my passions and my interests, and I've recreated my identity for myself aside from just being an athlete.
My greatest personal discovery has been that I am capable of doing things that I didn't know I was capable of doing.
To be able to study what I wanted to and continue to play the sport I love, all of those things came together very nicely in one package in Division III.
Back here out of the timeout, the officials' timeout, getting the shot clocks changed out and fixed here in the second half as we're set to go on the draw after the second quick goal by Southern Maine. And the Huskies are feeling the momentum right now. The field has shifted against Plymouth State, all leaning to this right goal on your screen here this game in the championship. Won by Plymouth State on the draw, picked up by Devin Mello, the freshman.
And despite Plymouth having the lion's share of the opportunities and offensive possessions, they have 10 more shots, but they've only created 4 more shots on goal than the Huskies, so still pretty equal in good opportunities.
Thompson behind the cage, matching up with Cooney. Just under 26 minutes to go here. Panthers taking their time. It's what you talked about, Eric, seeing Plymouth State kind of chew up a few extra seconds here in the second half, but they've got to be careful. They've given a lot of opportunity here to the Huskies.
I think a great way to limit momentum of a team is to take out and bleed the entire shot clock.
Oh, and a shot and a score there for the Panthers. And what do you know, Sydney Du Bois gets on the tally sheet, her first of the game. Plymouth State limits the damage right now with Southern Maine and gets the momentum back on their side.
Yeah, and all 3 goals in the second half have been low shots that have bounced and gone past the goalie. I think that's going to be a trend throughout this half. And Sydney Du Bois now having 29 goals on the season, she's always a threat to score.
And again, it was a little bobble there on the exchange with Kimberly Zuccaro at the top of the arch, at the 12-meter arch. A little bit of a high part, but she got the split through to the defenders. And like you talked about, Eric, that high-low shot and got the skip off the turf and found the back of the cage. And the Panthers are back up by 4, 6-2. Don't go anywhere, folks. It's going to be exciting action the rest of the way if it hasn't been already. A whistle here in the cover-up, and possession goes to Southern Maine. Rinaldi moving forward. She has the last goal for the Huskies. Again, great movement and a great strip from behind coming from Cindy Du Bois. And the Panthers are off and running out of the defensive side with Faye Brown.
And that's been a theme for her all season, being an impact on the offense as well as the defense.
A foul here on the right side from Southern Maine. Possession with Plymouth State in the attacking zone. Zuccaro playing pass with McLaughlin out top.
And with Plymouth State's ability to take off about a minute and a half every offensive possession, you gotta think these Huskies are gonna put a higher emphasis on getting these draw controls in their favor, because possessions are becoming a higher and higher priority.
Well, hopefully they don't have to face that many draw controls, because that means there's goals on the board. Might see some more higher defensive pressure. Cut inside. San Fiore shot, score. It's going to be Sarah Thompson on the assist, and Plymouth State gets two back of their own right away with 24:06 left in the second half, and it's 7-2 Plymouth State.
And almost a right to left sweeping shot there low, and that's the fourth goal, and it's the fourth low shot of the second half, and that will be Fiore's 28th goal on the season.
So we had all the goals in the first half up high, coming, from Plymouth State. Now everything down low, and it's really making havoc for the defense and the goalkeepers of both teams here.
Yeah, and now that the Huskies have given up the goal, this is huge. They can't just give up another minute of the clock to the Panther offense.
Huskies need to go on another tear here. They got two quickly a moment ago. Love to see their offense get going again. Rinaldi throws a little bit of a hip check and gets away with it. Still loose on the draw, battled around. Midfielders can only grab it, and Cindy Du Bois picks it up on the hop. And draw control goes to Plymouth State once again.
Plymouth State now do hold a 7-4 advantage in draw controls.
Thompson on the near side. Leaves it back up top for Mello. So far, the Huskies not pressuring out too high. Still plenty of time in this one. 23-21 to go.
And just taking a quick look at some of these stats, very even other than shots taken. Ground balls pretty close, turnovers very even, caused turnovers very even between these two teams. A very interesting and compelling matchup here.
Fiore thought about pulling the trigger. She decides to cycle away. 33 seconds on the shot clock. Here's Devin Mello. A shot and a goal! The freshman gets on the tally sheet, and it's 8-2 Plymouth State.
Yeah, and Devin Mello choosing the exact right time to pick up her first 3 goals of the season, 2 in the semifinal, 1 in the championship now, and that was a little bit of a change of pace. Noticing these 4 goals in a row being low, she says, I'm going to shoot it up high. Van Norshen probably not expecting that one. Very hard to react to it, in a great goal.
Devin Mello gets her 3rd of the season, as Eric said. Both coming in the second half of the semifinal, now the championship game, and the Panthers have their biggest lead of the afternoon at 6. It's 8-2. As we wait for the shot clocks to turn back on once again, technical difficulty.
And with this 8-2 lead now, it's important to say that even though the Panthers are bleeding down the shot clock, letting it sink to the last couple seconds, they're creating good opportunities and still scoring, which is very important. You can't take the shot clock all the way down and then give the ball up right away, because that doesn't help you. You need to score and create good opportunities while holding the ball for as long as you can.
Southern Maine just needs to get their attack going, use their speed. We've seen that with Rinaldi. I'm surprised we haven't seen her get a little bit more involved here, even after her goal this half, as the shot clocks kick back on. But use her not only as a decoy, but use Jordan as a decoy. Jordan's been kind of phased out here in the second half. We haven't seen her on the attacks as much as we saw in the first half of action.
Yeah, and I look for Jordan to be more of a distributor. She does lead her team in assists with 30 on the year, and she does a great job, wandering around the top part of their offensive zone and just finding the right pass.
This one going to be won by the Huskies. Rinaldi has possession on the far side of the field. And here comes Southern Maine once again, trying to stop the bleeding against them, get some goals back against the Panthers. They've done so well all season long. Again, it was a close one. We talked about it during the pregame show, Eric. Yes, it was a 10-7 final, but it was a lot closer than that for most of that game.
Yeah, it was 7-6 with the Huskies battling back, and then it was a late 3-0 run by the Panthers that really sealed that game in the final minutes.
Good work by Emily Sauls and Sydney DuBois to pinch off Jordan there, but it's gathered up by the Huskies with 50 on the shot clock. A bit of a stacked up offense here by Southern Maine, trying to get some more movement and find someone open as Fleming has it up top with 40 seconds. Good defense by Mello. Fleming has nowhere to go, and she throws the hands up going, someone move for me. Good screen by her, finds Jordan low angle, cuts back in front, and a shot and a save by Megan Allard. A great opportunity there for Jordan.
And it's almost impossible to score on Megan Allard if you get too close to her. She's great at absorbing the offensive player's stick and not letting them even get a shot off, really.
Sauls, with players in front, are able to lob it up to McLaughlin, who will get into the attacking side of things. McLaughlin with a goal here today in the championship. .21 minutes to go. Panthers lead by 6. Still a great crowd here at Arrold Field, the first official home game for Plymouth State here in 2019, and it could potentially be the last one of the season.
And despite not really playing at home very much, they still do have that 14 home game winning streak. They'd love to extend that and get their 3rd straight title.
Again, hats off to Bruce Beaulieu and his grounds crew all year long, every single year, to get the fields playable. And a shot just missing on the near post there by Mello.
And Van Nostrand, again, doing a great job of taking up as much of the goal as she can, forcing them to shoot it wide.
Lobbed inside, Danos whistles one over the crossbar, and Zuccaro will be the first one back there. Van Nostrand, who talked about it, she comes out beautifully at the top of her crease and really cuts down the angles perfectly. An attempt here, deflection, clock will stop on the foul. It's a stick up high by the neck here, and a free position for Plymouth State.
And with 1 second left on the shot clock, it's pretty lucky to get that.
It has to be a catch and release because the shot clock will go. So no time for Zuccaro to run with it. She's got to pull the trigger right away. Does so, and this one, a save by Van Nostrand again, and it deflects to the near side.
And that was a little bit harder of a save than it looked. It was pretty tricky. The ball bounced and then carried to the left. She had to adjust to make a good save there.
High throw, bobbled around, a big collision of teammates by Plymouth State and Brown and Zuccaro. A little confusion because it was a shot clock reset, but everyone thought it was a shot clock violation because the horn sounded on the shot clocks, but calling for a reset, no whistle, everyone stopped play, and then the errant pass. But after all that confusion, Southern Maine with possession. Fleming to Cooney, has some space on the left-hand side. Good work inside to Fleming again. Nice fake by Fleming. Colleen Fleming's got some room to run. Over to left side, shot, score, and Alex Farley, number 11. Farley had some beautiful chances yesterday, but she finds the back of the net here. And Southern Maine has their 3rd goal of the game.
And just like one of their early opportunities, a really good pass after a drive to get an open shot and an open opportunity to have a very high percentage opportunity to get that 3rd goal.
That's all thanks to Colleen Fleming. A nice move at the restraining line, able to get past 3 defenders, had some room to work, drew that defense of Plymouth State over to her as that second line of defense, and all alone was Farley on the right-hand side. And another shot, as you mentioned, downstairs here in the second half.
I think they're going to have to be able to, if they want more goals, the Huskies are going to have to avoid the press of Plymouth and attack the second line of that defense, bringing the defenders out where they don't want to be to find easy passes passes. If they don't do that and they're not able to beat the press, the Panther defense will be able to sit back and sort of absorb the attacks and not let any free runs.
It's an 8-3 lead now for the Panthers with just over 19 minutes left here in regulation, and it's a ground ball pickup and a draw control for Plymouth State. Du Bois with some time on the left side will wait for the rest of the offense to get in the zone. Again, Breeze picking up again right to left across your screen. High pass gathered up by Zuccaro nicely. Du Bois will be subbed out here as Harrington will come back in for the Panthers.
Van Nostrand now has 8 saves on the game here.
Again, she had 11 yesterday in the semifinals against Westcott.
She had a season-high 13 in their first matchup against Plymouth, so just unreal every time she plays the Panthers.
45 on the shot clock. Zuccaro looking for a cut, takes it herself, shot, score! Kimberly Zuccaro makes it 9-3 Plymouth State.
And just like in the first matchup, Zuccaro getting a much-needed goal in the second half. She is electric when she needs to be, making a great inside move, getting around a defender, and then a free shot scored on Van Nostrand.
So the lead back up to 6. We didn't know how much Zuccaro was going to be playing, battling some injury from the semifinals, but makes a cut there. We've seen her kind of stay away from all of that pressure, what we're used to seeing at the top of the crease, and it seemed like Southern Maine's defense was kind of planning for her to step away or not reset back out high, and she makes that quick step cut and has a nice half dive attempt on that far post.
Yeah, and it looked like the design of that play was for Zuccaro to pass to the middle, and once they saw that not being open, the Huskies sort of didn't recognize that she still had the opportunity to dive in and score, and she used that hesitation from the defense to get an opportunity.
And a violation here after the draw, so a free start for Plymouth State with Sydney Du Bois, and the Panthers are back on the attack. As Du Bois will be subbed out once again, Harrington will come back in for her. Few subs lined up for the Huskies in front of us as well. Mello back up top, freshman's played stellar here, and look for her to really fit that role where Kimmy has been, Kimberly Zuccaro that is, over the last 4 years, moving into the next 3 years for Plymouth State. They kind of really shadow each other through practice. Yes, different heights for them, so to speak, but Mello really playing like a Kimberly Zuccaro and getting aggressive here in the second half of the season.
Yeah, and I'd say Zuccaro, her trademark is aggressiveness on offense and on defense, and if Mello can take what she's learned from her and sort of apply that in her own game, I think she'll be very successful and have a rewarding career.
Turnover here. Panthers give it back to Southern Maine as they try to get the attack going as Soroyce takes a couple of shots. A nice spin move by her to get in the attacking end. Clock starting to run down here on Southern Maine. Still over 16 and a half minutes to go, but they trail by 6 here.
And they have to be thinking we need goals now because they know the Panthers.
An attack by Violet, and it looked like either 3 seconds of shooting space is called, but she'll get a free position on the right-hand side and a chance for the Huskies.
And the Huskies actually have yet to score on free position opportunities. I believe they're 0 for 4 on the day, so looking to change that and get even closer to this Plymouth State team.
Violet cuts to her left, and a shot and a score! Megan Violet gets her second of the game, and it is a 9-4 advantage. Oh, they're gonna call it off. Oh, what do we have going on here? They're going to call in maybe a crease violation, but a goal taken off the board here on Southern Maine. Oh, heartbreaker for Violet.
And it was a great move by Violet. One of the only times any attacker has found success going close to Allard.
And a high shot up top on Brown draws the foul call. So a restart near the restraining line on the Plymouth State zone.
And for the Huskies, sorry.
Yeah, tough. Just looking at that, it's tough there for Southern Maine. We saw that against them, or with them, with WestCon yesterday. WestCon had a goal called back in the same fashion on an attack. Now Southern Maine, and it's kind of hard at times to shake it off, especially in the pressure situation of a championship game, and get that offense, that flow going that you had in the mid part of this game.
Yeah, that was exactly what I was thinking. If you're on the Huskies here, you have to continue to keep your head up high. I would look for the bench to really encourage their players to shout, let's keep going, because it is encouraging to see that they had success despite that the goal was taken away. There are still things to take away from that opportunity to encourage them.
But a foul here on Plymouth State on the attack. Gives it back to Southern Maine. Jordan finds Farley. She's got a goal here this afternoon in the second half.
And with Jordan just 8 points away from 100 on the season, she's been very quiet here, almost silenced by the...
Well, she gets the shot attempt there, but it's right into the chest of Allard and an easy save for her.
Yeah, and that's one of the best opportunities Jordan has had on the day, and Allard makes a pretty routine save on that one.
Still, Huskies are getting some quality chances in on the Panther defense as Allard's going to launch one and over the head of Mello. Right to Sarah Thompson, though, helping out and sent forward an attack on, but Fiore can't gather it up. It's a ground ball situation, still loose on the defensive side for Southern Maine, and it's covered up by the Panthers, and possession goes to the Huskies.
And that's unlucky for the Panthers. Fiore made a great run. She was away just a little bit too far there on the pass.
Again, wind continuing to pick up here as the game continues on, going right to left across your screen. We apologize for the wind noise in our microphones here. Huskies working out near side.
And with all this wind, you got to wonder if these goalies are going to refrain from those large looping passes. We already saw Megan Allard have a little bit of trouble with those. With this wind, it's going to be a little bit harder to find those passes.
Wilson trying to turn the corner on Sauls, and will send one down low, and Megan Allard can't get the reach. She finds herself out of the crease, but able to recover.
And she did a great job at recovering, staying with the defender instead of panicking and running back, doing exactly what she's supposed to do.
Down low for the Huskies, lurking that low high, but goes way back up top here with Jordan. Big collision, nearly a foul. I'm surprised there wasn't one called, but Farley there, Eric, with possession. Close one at the top of the arch. Rinaldi turning the corner, and a shot and a save by Megan Allard.
And you were saying earlier, it would be good to see from this Husky teams if Rinaldi could use her speed. She did there to get a good opportunity, and just another good save from Megan Allard.
Bobbled around at midfield, sent to the far side with Faye Brown. Over the midpoint here of the second half, and a foul here on Southern Maine. Who was going to win the championship here in 2019? Is Plymouth State going to get a three-peat, or is Southern Maine going to get their second conference title? Her first coming back in 2010. And a whistle, and over back here on the restraining line, and another unforced turnover on Plymouth State here, Eric.
Yeah, and pretty even on turnovers for the game. 15 for Plymouth State, 14 for the Huskies. And it's just been so close. Other than shots and shots on target, which Plymouth State has a definitive lead, 27 shots to the Huskies 14. It's been very even.
Timeout on the field. We'll take a timeout as well with 12:17 to go here in the second half. It's Plymouth State 9, Southern Maine 3 here on the LEC Network and Pemmy Baker TV.
Diving in college taught me to strive and be the best athlete I can be, but also the best student I can be. My coaches always made sure that the student comes first, because not everyone's going to become a professional athlete. So they make sure that we will do great in academics. I knew that would only open the door to my future, and I'm really excited to start my dream program for physical therapy.
The road to national championships runs through NCAA.com and the NCAA Sports app. And whether you follow one college team or all of them, it's never been easier to get the content you want all in one place. With live broadcasts of multiple championships across all divisions. With exclusive access.
Ready to go? Let's have some fun.
And highlights for every single championship. Stay in the game all season long with NCAA.com and the NCAA Sports app.
This telecast is copyrighted by the NCAA for the private use of our audience. Any other use of this telecast or any picture, descriptions, or accounts of the game without the NCAA's consent is prohibited.
Back here to the timeout on the field. Panthers leading by 6, and Eric, now time kind of weaning against Southern Maine. How can they get back? As we look at the stats here, we'll get to that thought in just a second.
And looking at the stats, I think with the Huskies 14 shots, 12 on goal, they are still 0 for 4 on free position shots, but Van Nostrand very strong, 8 saves, 5 draw controls for the Huskies, 16 ground balls, 14 turnovers, 8 caused turnovers, and 23 fouls on the game. Looking at the Panthers, they have 27 shots and 17 of which on goal, so a big advantage there. They are 3 of 9 on free position shots, another key for them in this game. They have 9 saves, 9 draw controls, 14 ground balls, 15 turnovers, 8 caused turnovers, and 24 fouls. And looking at those stats, I think it's going to be really key for the Huskies to use their speed and dive into this to the defensive zone of the Panthers and get more free position shots. But of course, once they get those, they are going to have to really take advantage of those opportunities. We saw Violet try to do that. The goal was overturned, so they will feel hard done about that. But if I were the Huskies, I'd say just be more aggressive, make more attacking runs, and try to get some free position opportunities.
Back underway here as the restart after the timeout, and Southern Maine would love to get a goal right now and start their streak again. As a foul here in the hands of Jordan. And quickly walks into a double team, has to leave it off. Again, now wind blowing across the field straight into the cameras here in the press box. So it doesn't really give an advantage on the cross-field breeze. Jordan looking for an off-the-ball move, finds Fleming, a shot and a score! And we're starting to see more off-the-ball movement, Eric.
Yeah, and I think it's key because Eliza Jordan has been sort of taken out of the game offensively. She needs to be the distributor. She needs to be like a point guard in this game, and she did just that, getting her 31st assist on the season, finding Colleen Fleming for her 27th goal of the season.
The senior. See if this sparks the trend here for Southern Maine, as it's a 5-goal lead for Plymouth State now, 9-4 with 11:38 to go. Again, still plenty of time in this one.
Especially with these two teams' abilities to score in bunches.
Whoever comes out on top is going to be well deserving of representing the Little East Conference in the NCAA tournament starting next Saturday.
And with that goal, the Huskies are now 15 of 13 for shots on goal. So still, they are superb at finding the right opportunity. It's just been Megan Allard's 9 saves on the game really keeping them out of this.
High toss up on the draw, still loose, no possession yet. Bobbled around heading towards the restraining line. And a push in the back, and it's going to be against Southern Maine.
And another example of maybe these teams' unfamiliarity playing on grass. Very hard to scoop up those ground balls.
So the boys on the near side. Panthers going to chew up some clock here. Zuccaro has a goal today. Will pass back out top. Not a lot of cuts off the ball by the Panthers right now. Just working out top. Starting to see a little bit more pressure coming out by the Huskies. Trying to get that double team going. Du Bois gets open, and a shot and a save by Van Nostrand.
And just looking at the offensive strategy from the Panthers, I think maybe they were inviting some pressure as immediately they saw the cut by Du Bois in an open pass. So I think if they're able to just keep it on the exterior of their attacking zone and sort of work it around and wait for the Huskies, who have to use as much of the clock as they can on offense to be aggressive and find an easy pass.
Sarah Thompson commits the foul. As Sorois will send this one down low to Evelyn Hinckley. Hinckley did well in the second half for Southern Maine yesterday. Jordan working out top. Gets matched up here with McLaughlin. Trying to find a cut again. Knocked down by Mello, and she'll pick up the loose ball.
And Jordan again finding it very hard with not a lot of open chances. This Plymouth State Panther team doing a great job of suffocating the offense.
Quick attack here. Daniels shot, score! Veronica Daniels gets her 4th of the game, and it's 10-4 Plymouth State with 9:37 left here in regulation.
And just like the Huskies yesterday, the Panthers doing a great job of getting that turnover and then a quick goal. Daniels getting her 4th of the game, 46th of the season. Unreal.
But that's kind of the counterpart there of the high pressure from Southern Maine. Yes, they have to keep the same numbers in. It's not like you can bring an extra attacker or anything like that, but it's a quick counterattack, and it's the foot race there for Plymouth State that allowed that opportunity and a beautiful pass into Veronica Daniels to get that goal.
Yeah, and they almost had a similar one. It wasn't off a turnover, but they were trying to find Fiore off that one, just a little bit over this time, getting it farther down the field and finding Daniels for a goal.
So the Huskies are going to have to take some chances here. Under 10 minutes left in regulation. Trying to find something past Megan Allard in net for Plymouth State. High toss up on the draw once again. Nice clean pickup there by Rinaldi. And she's quietly had a stellar game for Southern Maine. 1 goal on the board for her. Crosses up McLaughlin a couple of times. Nice little screen on the changeoff. Here come the Huskies. Violence had 1. She had 1 called back on a crease violation.
And if I were the Huskies, I'd try to find Rinaldi. She's a speed mismatch, and if they can get her cutting across, it's going to be hard for the Panthers to stay with her.
There's Rinaldi again up top, gets the speed around Sauls. Low angle shot, score! And she will not be denied this time. Megan Violet now gets her 2nd of the afternoon.
She had a shot earlier, Rinaldi running across, and it was just to the outside. This time, she cuts it in a little bit closer, a little bit more direct, and finds a low-driven shot to bounce past Megan Allard.
It just seems that Plymouth State, even with a 5-goal lead, just can't put this game away. The Huskies will always come back, and they've shown that here this afternoon.
Yeah, as long as there's time on the clock, the Huskies could score.
So we're set for the draw. Eliasson against Du Bois on the draw here in the circle. Du Bois nearly snagged it right away, but she'll commit the foul here and right to Rinaldi, who will self-start quickly. Rinaldi again, here's the speed we talked about at halftime. Fed down low. Keenan has it knocked away from her. Loose ball pickup for Keenan and the Huskies.
And I think if you're Rinaldi, you can almost use your speed as an offensive move. Just with the defender knowing how much speed you have, they might give you a little bit more space and it'll be easier for her to find a pass.
Fleming, hesitation move and defended nicely by McLaughlin. She'll have to send it out to Rinaldi, who's been dazzling here off the ball. Gets the shot off, knocked around and hit a body in front. Couldn't see who it was. It wasn't in on Allard, but the Panthers pick it up defensively.
Yeah, Rinaldi not able to use her speed to her advantage there.
But she did have a nice cut through a couple of defenders, just couldn't get a lot on that shot with pressure all around her. Under 8 minutes to go here in the 2019 Little East Conference Women's Lacrosse Championship game between the top 2 seeds. Plymouth State was 7-0, and Southern Maine was 6-1 in the conference standings here this year, as Sauls has Rinaldi all over her, and timeout called by Plymouth State. With 7:35 to go here, we'll take a timeout as well, It's Plymouth State 10, Southern Maine 5 here on the LEC Network and Pemmy Baker TV. Don't go anywhere.
I did receive a non-athletic scholarship upon entering school.
I got the presidential scholarship, which was huge for me.
I think there's more opportunities for academic scholarships in Division III.
I did receive academic scholarships. Just being involved on campus, being a leader, all those things combined kind of get me recognized. It's a great experience for me.
Division III allows you to give yourself to other things.
Having that free time allows me to pursue the things that I want to pursue.
Division III athletics affords students the opportunity to, engage in the other interests in their campus and in their lives outside of that sport.
It allows you to just be able to do everything you want to do. I wouldn't change it for the world.
Back here at the timeout taken by Plymouth State with a swarm all over Emily Sauls before the turnover. A great timeout taken by the Panthers. And Eric, with 7:35 left, let's take a look at the stats so far in this one.
Starting off with the Panthers, they have 29 shots, 19 of those shots being on goal. They're 3 of 9 from free position shots. They have 9 saves, 10 draw controls, 16 ground balls, 15 turnovers, 9 caused turnovers, and 28 fouls. Looking at the Huskies, they have 17 shots, 14 shots on goal. They are 0 of 4 on free position shots, 9 saves on the day, 7 draw controls, 16 ground balls, 15 turnovers, 8 caused turnovers, and 24 fouls.
They have done well. We'll see if they can keep their momentum going. They've gotten some great pressure here on Megan Allard in the second half, but it is a 10-5 lead for the Panthers here in the closing minutes of the championship game. Restart here after the timeout taken, and a foul against Southern Maine. Daniels will self-start, find the triple team, and get in the attacking zone just in the nick of time.
And I'd look from a pressing defense here for the Huskies. They need to get the ball back. They need to force turnovers.
Thompson behind the cage has McLaughlin on the near side, and she will find her. Du Bois, again, you're starting to see that pressure step out a little bit more here, Eric, from Southern Maine.
Yeah, and I think their hopes is to catch one of these passes and get the interception and sort of get a breakaway, as they were so effective on those in the semifinal. But it's a risky game, because if you do that...
Feed down low and negated by the Huskies beautifully. There's that turnover they needed. Daniels pressuring here against Violet, and Violet's pushed down. And a foul committed.
And the Huskies just now starting to press. The Panthers have been doing it successfully the entire game, and with about 6.5 minutes left, I would expect more of the same.
Again, fans, don't go anywhere. We'll have complete coverage of the championship ceremony at the conclusion of this one here live on the LEC Network and Pemmy Baker TV. Violet in the middle, has some help on the right-hand side. She'll take it herself, though. Shanks, first time we've called her name here this afternoon. Into the second half, leaves it off for Jordan. Jordan cuts back to her left, trying to find her lane. It was a nice cut from Fleming, but it drew 2 defenders with her. Fleming has it with 23 on the shot clock. Jordan back out top. Nice pick by Fleming. Jordan inside, advantage, shot, score! Eliza Jordan, the senior, closes the gap down to 4.
And it was a great job of her. Earlier in that possession, she was unable to make a move past the defender. She gets the ball in the same position the second time. She's going to make it count, gets around the defender in a high shot over Megan Allard before Megan Allard could come out and absorb the shot.
Here come the Huskies once again. It's got the fan base alive. Off to our left in the bleachers, and it's the closest Southern Maine has been in a little while. It's cut down to 4. It's 10-6 with 5:20 or 5:32. Easy for me to say, left here in regulation.
Yeah, and they're going to need to average about a goal every minute 15 if they want to get the lead in this one here late in the second half.
Solid math skills by you, Eric. Solid. Right before finals week for you, too.
You know, I'm a math minor. I try my best.
Either way, it's been exciting to watch here this afternoon. Two quality teams in New England lacrosse. Bobbled around, and Jordan on the own little hop out of the stick, able to grab it and take off running. Near side, Farley, a nice cut pass, Sauls, and a save by Megan Allard right off the thigh.
And a great save to get her 10th of the day.
10 saves, stellar performance by both netminders.
Yeah, who would have thought 19 combined saves between the two goalies, and there's still 5 minutes left.
And still have a 10-6 scoreline. Well, we thought it was going to be one or the other. We didn't know it was going to be both top goal scoring and top goaltending. Foul committed on the Huskies. Mello with contact, advantage called. She'll leave it over to St. Laurent.
And both of these teams have had moments of playing very well on both sides. It's just been Plymouth's ability to put it together more often than the Huskies that gives them their advantage in this game.
McLaughlin on the near side sends it down to Sarah Thompson. 4.5 minutes to go here in regulation. Lead cut down to 4. The Huskies get one more right now. Expect Plymouth State to take their final timeout and try to limit this momentum. Here comes Thompson, and a shot and a score! And it'll count before she crosses into the crease. An 11-6 score now for Plymouth State with 4:15 remaining.
Yeah, Thompson's second goal of the day, 16th of the season, and a great drive there, getting it up and over the goalie's stick in a high shot. We've seen a couple low successful shots, switching the level of the eyes for the goalie, making her look high and scoring there.
Karina Soroyce will check back in for Southern Maine here from Mirakuni. But a good attack there from Sarah Thompson on a goal line extended, able to cut in and find the back post. The Panthers open the lead back up to 5. Some more breathing room for them here with 4:15 remaining.
And Thompson's been so effective. She has 3 shots and 2 goals in this game.
Picking them wisely here this afternoon. Sent up on the draw, loose ball, and a nice snag again by Jordan, but she's being chased down from behind. Hard contact negates the foul, though. I could hear it up here. We saw Veronica Daniels kind of put the arm back as Megan is attacked there and hitting the helmet. Allard wanted something, but not coming. A whistle. Horn sounds here at the table. A timeout taken by Plymouth State with Megan Allard surrounded behind the cage. We'll take another timeout as well with 3:49 to go in this one. Top-seeded Panthers holding on to an 11-6 lead over the Huskies here on the LEC Network and Pemmy Baker TV.
I'm a Division III student athlete, and I know how powerful words can be. The term gay doesn't mean stupid, lame, or less than.
So I pledge to speak up if I hear the term gay used in a derogatory way or any other homophobic terms.
If you can play in Division III.
I'm a Division III student athlete, and my teammates unconditionally accepted me as part of their family. So now I pledge to do the same for others. If you can play in Division III.
I just wanted to get good grades and to do well. But it also made me realize that I have a lot of career goals.
You're there to get a full college experience, not only participate in your sport, but participate in things outside of that. And it's all about growing as a person.
My coaches have helped me with figuring out who I really am. Their lives are dedicated for us to succeed.
Back here into the second timeout taken by Plymouth State with Megan Allard surrounded below goal line extended. Good pressure by Southern Maine trying to close this deficit down once again. They've battled beautifully. Both teams have all afternoon. But it's getting close. So here we go.
A crazy stat I just noticed. Allard has a 62.5% save percentage for the game.
Tries to set a pick here on the restart. Veronica Daniels, good spin moves to the defensive side. She'll get into the midfield, take some contact, and draw the foul. Big outlet, goes into the leg there of Harrington. She can't find it, but able to pick it up on the ground ball, but oh, a tough one there. Thought it was knocked free cleanly by Southern Maine, but the foul is called. Crunch time here for the Huskies. Panthers just gonna kill it here. 40 on their shot clock.
And if they're able to make the Huskies commit to a press, it'll be a lot easier to get those cutting runs into the attacking zone to get an opportunity.
Southern Maine has to step out a lot more here. It's gonna open up, as Eric just said, in the middle of the field with 22 on the Panthers shot clock. Under 3 minutes to go. Panthers leading 11-6. Mello cuts inside, takes some contact, and she's going to get a free position here.
And that was very smart from her. And instead of taking a farther out shot, getting this another opportunity and resetting sort of this Panther offense to get a clearer cut goal scoring opportunity.
Mello, pump fake shot just over the crossbar and will roll out of play. Possession will stay with Plymouth State. Low high pass, trying to find McLaughlin. She was double teamed. Good defense by Southern Maine. It gets to the restraining line and picked up. And here come the Huskies with 2.5 minutes to go. And a foul here on Brown. High pass out of the reach of St. Laurent. Huskies have it on the far side. Here's a cut back into the middle by Shanks. Tic-tac-toe, passing, shot, score! High contact here on Allard. We'll see if we're gonna get another call here, but a great feed by Southern Maine, and it's 11-7.
And when Southern Maine has scored, it's been from open opportunities, not a lot of congested shots. And that was another example of a really good pass to find an open attacker and a good goal.
And it will be Lindsay Keene, the freshman who had 4 goals yesterday in the semifinal, gets the backdoor feed and pulls the lead down to 4 for the Panthers.
And that will be her 34th on the season, so a great year for Lindsay Keenan.
And again, she took some high contact up at the head from Megan Allard on her release, but it looks like nothing else is coming from it. Still time left, 2:11, but it's down to 4 for the Panthers, 11-7 now. We knew it was going to be close. And it has been a fantastic illegal draw here. And illegal jump coming against the Huskies, so a free start for Plymouth State.
And Plymouth State doing a great job despite the great goalkeeping of Van Nostrand, making her face 11 more shots than Allard has had to deal with in this game.
Daniels, shot and just misses the far post. Good defense and the pressure from Southern Maine. Under 2 minutes left. McLaughlin sends it out to the far side. Under 60 seconds on the possession clock for Plymouth State. Lob pass up top, battled around and gathered up by McLaughlin. High pass, Thompson snags that one out of the sky. 1:16 left in regulation, 37 seconds on the shot clock. Daniels finds the double team. Flag goes up, shot, score! And that might seal the deal. Plymouth State with a 12-7 lead now with 1:07 to go. And the Panthers are closing in on the three-peat.
And Daniels has been phenomenal all day at scoring goals. Gets her first assist, and it was great. She absorbed the pressure as she has all game, finding a very open pass. It was Sam Fiore, her second goal of the game, 29th of the season, so a very good link up by 2 great attackers for the Panthers.
Good work by Sam Fiore. What might have sealed the deal here with 1:07 left.
And the Panthers have done a great job throughout the season at finishing off games when the opposing team has gotten close. They've done phenomenal at just scoring those extra goals with about 3 minutes left to kind of put it out of reach.
Knocked down Daniels picks up the ball. Panthers can run the clock out here in the final minute of play. It's been a stellar one to watch here. It's been a crazy weekend with the weather we've had on Friday. Beautiful games yesterday, both big wins. 15 goals scored by both of these teams in the semifinals. Plymouth State with that 15-5 win over Keene State and their rivals, and again a 15 spot put up by Southern Maine. But Plymouth State can try to run this clock out as Thompson trying to pick up that pass. She's double teamed and leaves it off for Sydney Du Bois. Clock running down. The Panthers just going to play pass here. And a tough end of the season for Southern Maine. Hats off to the Huskies. They have been absolutely outstanding. It's the highest they've been seeded in a long time. But they're not going to be able to knock off the powerhouse in Plymouth State here today. They got it close, but Plymouth State with 2 seconds can run out the clock. Plymouth State are your 2019 Little East Conference Women's Lacrosse champions, and they complete the three-peat. The 8th time in program history Plymouth State has won the conference title, and they are heading back to the NCAA tournament for the 3rd year in a row.
And my key for this win is Plymouth State is now 23-0 when scoring over 10 goals in LEC competition. And I think it was scoring early and often and getting out to an early lead, not letting the Huskies dominate the first half as they have all season. And I think that it went a long way to the Panthers picking up this 3rd straight championship.
As you see the celebration on your screen right now with the Panthers, again, hats off to Southern Maine. They have a fantastic program. They are continuing to get stronger. We've seen it all year. We've talked about it in the regular season as well, that there's a lot of teams stepping up and climbing up the ladder here in the Little East Conference and closing that gap down. We saw Eastern Connecticut State struggle this year. They snuck into the playoff on not a technicality, but on a tiebreaker. They struggled in the first round. We've seen Keene State falter as of late, but still Plymouth State hanging as that top echelon. But there's a lot of teams knocking at the door here of the next couple of seasons. Looking at things, we'll get set for the handshake line. And Eric, at this time, let's go through the final stats here this afternoon.
Starting off with the champions, the Plymouth State Panthers, they had 33 shots, 21 of which were on goal. They were 3 of 10 for free position shots. They had 10 saves on the day by Megan Allard. 12 draw controls, 17 ground balls, 17 turnovers, 9 caused turnovers, and 29 fouls. Now looking at the runner-up Huskies, 20 shots, 17 on goal, so very good at creating good opportunities throughout this game. They were 0 of 4 for free position shots, 9 saves from Van Nostrand, 9 draw controls, 18 ground balls, 16 turnovers, 9 caused turnovers, and 31 fouls.
So with that, the teams will line up for the handshake. We'll step aside as we get set for the championship ceremony. We'll send it downstairs to our public address announcer and Chris Kilmer. Panthers win their 3rd straight title.
The Little East Conference would like to thank Plymouth State University and its staff for hosting this year's Little East Conference Women's Lacrosse Championship Final Four. The Little East would also like to congratulate this year's runners-up, the University of Southern Maine, for a tremendous year and postseason run. And congratulations to the 2019 Little East Conference Women's Lacrosse Champions, Plymouth State University. Please join us in welcoming Little East Conference Commissioner Cora Brumley and Plymouth State University Director of Athletics Kim Bounds as we take a moment to acknowledge the individual members of the 2019 Women's Lacrosse Champion Panthers. Number 2, Kimberly Zuccaro. Number 3, Julia Durant. Number 5, Sarah Jakes. Number 6, Julia Rankin. Number 7, Kaylee St. Laurent. Number 8, Hannah Chartier. Number 9, Elizabeth McLaughlin. Number 10, Bree Flanagan. Number 11, Veronica Daniels. Number 12, Faye Brown. Number 14, Lissa Perry. Number 15, Madeline Svetten. Number 16, Sam Fiore. Number 17, Laura Harrington. Number 18, Sydney Dubois. Number 19, Emily Sauls. Number 20, Liz O'Sullivan. Number 22, Sarah Thompson. Number 24, Megan Allard. Number 25, Devin Mello. Number 27, Mary Kate Thompson. Number 32, Emily Wargo. And number 33, Sarah Elkins. Congratulations to all players and staff on a job well done. The tournament most outstanding player is awarded to the player that has the biggest impact on her team's games throughout the 2019 LEC Women's Lacrosse Tournament. At this time, we'd like to present the 2019 Little East Conference Tournament Most Outstanding Player Award to Plymouth State's Veronica Daniels. Veronica led the Panthers with 4 goals and an assist in today's championship game. And now accepting the 2019 Little East Conference Championship Trophy, the captains from Plymouth State, Emily Sauls, Sarah Thompson, Emily Wargo, and Kimberly Zuccaro.
So there you have it. Plymouth State are your 2019 Little East Conference champions for the 3rd straight time. And celebration going to start here, Eric, and let's get your final thoughts on a very exciting, very competitive championship game.
I think the biggest impact and what jumped out to me is how great the seniors played in this game for the Panthers. They were responsible for 9 goals, getting 7 of them and assisting 2 others. It was a phenomenal performance from the likes of Veronica Daniels and Kimberly Zuccaro, as well as Sarah Thompson. So just the senior leadership of this team really shining through and performing here in the championship game.
So that is going to do it for us here this, not only today, but this season. We thank you all for not only joining us here on the LEC network, but all of the games produced by Plymouth State for Plymouth State Athletics. It's been exciting. We could not do it without our entire fantastic student staff here that bring you our complete coverage of every single home game, all the social media content. We can't help but thank the rest of the athletics communications office and the stats crew and the event staff here all season long, heading way back. I can't believe it's already been 9 months since the start of the school year, but we thank you all for joining us. That's going to do it for us here today as Plymouth State are 8-time Little East Conference champions and are capping off the three-peat as they will continue their season next week in the first round of the NCAA tournament. The Panthers will find out shortly where they will be going over the next 24 hours. Hats off to Southern Maine. They had a fantastic season, unfortunately come to an end, but there are some great bright rising stars in the Little East Conference, not only with both of these teams, but the rest of the league. Eric, anything to say before we sign off?
I think it was just an awesome performance just to see the younger players get involved as well. For the Panthers, it was Mello, and just the way she stepped up, getting 3 goals in the final and the most important 2 games of the season for the Panthers.
So with that, congratulations to Veronica Daniels, as you heard, the most outstanding player. And our entire staff, Isaiah Bolden and Curtis Leduc, our camera operators, Michael Mahoney, our producer, Eric Spalding, my commentator, partner here today, I'm Dan Salzer. Final score for the final time, it's Plymouth State 12, Southern Maine 7, here on the LEC Network and Pemmy Baker TV.
This telecast is copyrighted by the NCAA for the private use of our audience. Any other use of this telecast or any picture, descriptions, or accounts of the game without the NCAA's consent is prohibited.